Yo, yo, yo. It's Tuesday night. You know what that means. It's your boys, the Hockey Happy Hour, coming at you live only on HUD Radio. Tonight we got live reactions to two games. We're going to talk about this first round a little bit more in depth than we have been. So, you know what to do. We got Aho versus Aho tonight. So hit that like, hit that subscribe, tell your friends to do the same thing, hit that share. Let's go. Time to talk some puck.
Oh my God! I'm embarrassed! You're flying!
Oh, come in. It's almost time.
The Hockey Happy Hour. I am Matson Sudi, along with the Darkwing Brian Daly.
What up?
The Broken One, Mr. Rob Povia.
Good evening, gentlemen.
And Mr. Switzerland, Mr. Broadway, Mr. Blue Shirt, Mr. Blue Christmas, Mr. Brad Ryer. I'm just going to keep adding things as we go along because, eventually it'll be like so long that it'll be up the whole show. Anyway, so we welcome everybody to a brand new edition of the Hockey Happy Hour live here on A2DRadio.com, brought to you by the doc, Dr. Paul Vidal. At Specialized Physical Therapy, if you got any aches and pains, go see the doc and let his team of professionals take care of you. Make an appointment at www.specializedphysicaltherapy.com and then head on over to Cherry Hill or Burlington, New Jersey at one of their fine locations. And you won't have any more aches and pains after you had a few sessions, and you'll feel as good as new, even better than you did before. So, Gentlemen, the playoffs in full swing. We saw some interesting things last week, and this week it's looking like same thing. First round has been anything but it's been exciting, to say the least. It's been a lot of things, and exciting is one of them.
Very depressing.
I mean, it's not that depressing. I mean,
yes,
little bit, but,
Yes,
All right, then. And our sponsor for the poll question, brought to you by Baggio's Bread. If you want to have yourself a celebration for a little bit of a get-together, birthday party, or you want to have a playoff party, because those are always fun to have. It's not just for the Super Bowl. It's not just for the NFL. It's not just for the NBA. It's not just for the World Series. It's for the NHL as well, for the Stanley Cup Playoffs, if you want to have a party for it. And Baggio's Bread is the perfect to cater for it, or to get food for it, at least. Located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, home of the best stuffed pies, tomato pies as well, sandwiches, cutlets, and meatballs. Mention A2D for 10% off of your in-store purchase. Save yourself a little bit of coin, get yourself some great food, and have yourself a party and something to go along with it. Maybe a few alcoholic beverages on top of that as well when you place your order. And have yourself a good time. All right, then. To the poll question we go. The first round matchups have lived up to expectations. Agree or disagree? I'll start this one off, gentlemen. I'm going to say emphatically yes. I think they have absolutely lived up to expectations. Even the matchups that seem like they're one-sided haven't really been one-sided for the most part, with the exception of maybe Boston and Florida, you could argue. But in the end of the day, though, there's been a lot of fun to be had here between Seattle and Colorado, between the game that I currently have on, Minnesota and Dallas, Edmonton and LA, which will be on later tonight. There's been a lot of excitement in this first round. Gents, how do you feel? Agree or disagree?
I'm totally going to agree. And I'm going to lead into the Leafs might finally get out of the first round. So that's something that's huge, especially for Toronto fans. They've been waiting for this for a long time. It's been a long time coming for them to finally get out of the first round. And to do it against a team like Tampa Bay and the best goaltender in the world, and Andrei Vasilevsky, it's just goes to show you that, no matter how much you think that you know about this game and how much you think you know about, the regular season and how things work, just goes to show you how unpredictable that the playoffs are. Now we know that Toronto was the better team in the standings, but always find a way to choke out a series. Now, I'm also going to say the series isn't over yet. It's still 3-1. Austin Matthews said it best in his presser after that game. The fourth one is the hardest to get. We know Tampa Bay is going to come out. We know they're going to bring everything that they have in game 5. Yeah, 5. Sorry, I had to do the math real quick in my head. But yeah, all these series have been good. They've been competitive. Like Maddie said, pretty much Boston and Florida was the only matchup that I can think of that hasn't really been competitive.
Right.
I mean, even though the Canes and the Islanders series is 3-1 Carolina, the Islanders haven't exactly been out of it. I mean, there's been 2 blowouts in the series of going either way.
They've lost 2 games in overtime.
Yeah, exactly. And then they're up 2-0 here. So the Islanders haven't been out. They haven't really been out of the games except for 2. But I mean, yeah, I agree with the poll. I think these series have been great.
I think that Brad had that sneeze because he has an allergic reaction to the Islanders being competitive.
No, I have an allergic reaction to the. Oh no! Now it's 2-1. Yay!
Yeah, Carolina's on the board now.
See, you sneezed and he got it out of your system.
There you go. See.
I'm gonna need you to sneeze again in about a minute.
Thinking about the Islanders and Devils playing a playoff game in the next round, that's causing a very negative reaction to my body right now.
I see.
Every time I think about it, I start sneezing. So
next thing you know, you'll be convulsing.
Yeah. I'm convulsing. I'm still haven't gotten over the fact that the series is 2-2. I think the worst game was the first one because they should have won game 3. They outplayed him and they should have won that game. And the fact that Igor blew that game by because he didn't stop that shot by Hamilton is incredibly annoying.
So,
and to not score against a goalie who was in the what was it, the UCA last year, or the
USHL.
The USHL. I mean, come on, Schmidt. I could score against that freaking moron, and these guys have 2 goals in 2 games against him. I mean, are you serious? And he doesn't even move. He just stands there and the puck hits him.
So has your first round matchup with the Devils lived up to expectations?
Well, the first 2 games, yes, not the last 2. So no, I'm just kidding. It's all. Well, so far it's been the playoffs have been great, guys. There have been some really great games. Incredible comebacks. That comeback by Edmonton the other night against the Kings was unbelievable. They were down. They were getting outplayed. It was 3-0 after the first period, and then they came roaring back in the second and third, and ended up winning that game. That was Edmonton finally proved that they can face adversity and get through it, because they're like Toronto. Same issue with them. Maybe not in the first round, but the fact that they have the 2 best players in the league and can't seem to ever do anything with it.
Yes, same thing with the Toronto game last night, down 4-1 to Tampa Bay, come roaring back, win it 5-4 in overtime.
That was a very gutty win.
That was a very gutty win.
I mean, that's that Tampa Bay is real good at home, especially in the playoffs. They're tough to beat it on their ice, and the fact that that Toronto was able to mount that comeback was really impressive. But that series is not over yet, and it is the Leafs. Remember that.
Right.
The same Leafs that blew a 3-1 lead against Montreal a couple of years ago.
Right. I think
we're talking about Montreal.
Yeah, right. I know, I get it, but I think what we're seeing, Brad, is something that we talked about in the preseason and in the early season is that this Lightning team lost some pieces. They got older, and it showed in overtime yesterday. This might be the time for the Maple Leafs, to shine.
Listen, I picked them. I picked them to win. So this series, and after game one, I was like, well, how could I possibly be fooled again? But I guess I'm not being fooled this time. I think you're right. I think O'Reilly really, Ryan Riley. It's Ryan Riley, right?
Ryan O'Reilly.
Yeah.
Won't get fooled again.
Yeah, he's the kind of player they haven't had, and I think he really makes a big difference on this team. And they're doing what they need to do. That's for sure.
Yeah, and that series has been nothing short of exciting. Robbie, how have you felt about the first round and its expectations and living up to same? Robbie, Mike.
I am muted. Sorry, I was on a different screen. What I was saying is I would love to disagree with you because I love to, but obviously I couldn't because I was muted. But it's also another reason I can't. I absolutely agree with this poll. I mean, we're seeing the parity. We're seeing how, a Seattle Kraken team, a second-year team, can stand up to the Stanley Cup champions. Seeing plenty of OT contests, like I alluded to in the Toronto Maple Leaf series, but they're certainly not alone with that. And we're setting up for a couple game sevens as we predicted last week. So, I mean, absolutely living up to expectations. It's the greatest tournament on earth.
I absolutely agree with you, Robbie.
I agree.
Always is.
Meanwhile, we've got the fam chiming in. Greg saying absolutely agree to the poll. Swoopy chimed in saying goal Carolina. Greg also says the broadcast quality between ESPN, TNT/TBS is night and day. ESPN is just absolutely unwatchable trash.
Well, their announcer is the worst.
Like, I don't mind Steve Levy and Neil Buchagras. Those two are fine. It's everybody else. It's everybody else, and especially PK Subban. That man has no business being on a set talking hockey, especially when he doesn't even talk hockey. He talks fashion.
He's a clown.
I don't know. I was kind of hoping I disagree with you guys.
I was hoping Messier would kick his ass, to be honest with you.
I mean, I dislike him too, but I'll disagree with you at that point. I think he's made some fine points. Like, I was actually taken aback. I was like, dude, this guy can talk hockey.
Maybe it's just the segments that I've seen. Every time I flip ESPN on and during the intermission, pregame, postgame, he's always talking about how somebody was dressed.
Yeah, and he comes on looking like Ric Flair, for crying out loud.
Yeah, what the hell, dude? You're on freaking national broadcast TV. You're wearing a shirt that's almost pretty much wide open.
Yeah.
Your chest is exposed. All your chest areas out. Like, dude, like, show some kind of professionalism. Like, I get you're a fashionista or whatever the hell you want to call yourself.
Fashionista.
But, dude, show some kind of professionalism. Like, no, you can't do that. Especially when everybody else around you is wearing a suit and tie.
Can we slew foot him? Can somebody please slew foot him in the broadcast booth?
Maybe
Chelios has gotten him a couple times.
Maybe either Chelly or maybe you can get Biss to take care of it. So, especially
Messier's 70 years old. I don't think he can do it anymore.
No.
Fortunately, I think with Biz being on TNT, there's moments I can't stand him either, but at least he can talk the game. He understands the game enough to really talk about it, and he brings up some great points during his report. So yeah, I agree with Greg wholeheartedly. TNT, ESPN is night and day. I'd rather watch TNT.
Will saying, "What's up, guys? What's up, Wills?" Saying Leafs game was a banger last night. That it was. And Swoopy saying, "My guys, what's up, Swoopy?" Priz saying, "Let's go, boys." He also commented earlier on Foligno out with a 5-minute major, which happened earlier in the first period between Dallas and Minnesota, which is 2-0, by the way, Dallas leading. Foligno committed a kneeing infraction on Foxa, and that got him thrown from the game. Albeit, though, Foligno argues that he didn't actually knee him on purpose. But
he's one of the dirtiest players in the league, and we all know that. So, you know what? even if he didn't do it on purpose, he's just guilty because his name is Foligno. Period.
So let's see here. We've got Jake saying, "What up, fellas? I'm going to agree with the poll." What's up, Jake? And we got
She's back.
Oh, I left that up there. Oops.
Was it Greg saying, I sweated out that Edmonton comeback the other night. We were live on air reacting to that game.
Apparently, Tory Black is impressed with this year's NHL playoffs as well.
As she should be.
As we've stated before. Now, I'm going to leave the poll out here personally to the fans. I said I was going to do this, and by God, I'm a man of my word. So I will say, gentlemen out there, Tory Black, good taste, bad taste. Where are we going with this, gentlemen? Feel free. Do with that what you will. Take it away. Know who you're talking about. Who we're talking about. You are lying to yourself. You absolutely know who you're talking about. Yeah, yeah, sure. We'll go with that.
Hey, this is a family show. She's yawning.
Anything's better than looking at this.
Rod Brindamore, my favorite Flyer. Not a coincidence that his style of hockey is my favorite style of hockey to watch. That series has been very interesting between the Islanders and the Hurricanes. Even though, like you were saying before, like everybody was saying before, the Islanders have been competitive in that series. Carolina, though, they've had a few bounces go their way, and they've taken advantage of them. It wouldn't be out of the realm of possibilities if the Islanders come up with the victory here tonight to push a Game 6 back in New York. Question is, though, would they win Game 6? That's the big question.
Well, I'll tell you what. They just committed one of the stupidest penalties just now I've ever seen in my life. Honestly, the Islanders were on a power play, and Barzal was skating into the zone, and as Noah Dobson skated by one of the Hurricanes, he like stuck his stick between his legs and pulled him down. I mean, at center ice. At center ice. I mean, what? I sometimes I fail to understand the mentality of some of these players, some of the stupid things that they do.
Similar to Cale Makar interfering last night and getting himself tossed.
Yeah.
And now suspended for a game.
Hey, I want to know something. Isn't it illegal to run a goalie?
Last time I checked.
Depends on the situation.
Well, why is it that the Devils are allowed to run over Shesterkin and knock him into the net, and then when Shesterkin turns around and punches the guy who's lying on top of him in the net, why is that a penalty?
I have to see the situation.
It was the game Saturday night. I forgot who it was. I think it was Hughes. Hughes was standing in front of the net, and then he got hit. And then instead of falling across the crease, he purposely went and fell right on top of Shesterkin, and wouldn't get up. And then Shesterkin punched him, and Shesterkin gets a 2-minute penalty. Meanwhile, he's tackled and being pinned to the ice inside the net. And this is allowed.
Barzal just scored.
Barzal.
Look at this, the Islanders. Look at the Islanders.
And then Igor wound up catching a penalty, right, Brad?
Igor got a penalty, and they scored a goal on that power play.
Right.
And that tied up the game. And
very shady.
And last night, Igor almost got killed. I mean, literally, this devil came in flying into the crease, right into the net, knocks Igor down backwards. They had to stop the game for a couple of minutes to make sure he was okay. And there's no penalty?
It's ridiculous.
I mean,
well, Brad,
and the Rangers don't go and fight because they don't want to give up a power play, which I fully understand. And I would say that next season, both those guys are going to be dead, hopefully. Because you can't let these guys do that stuff.
if a missing persons report winds up coming out on them, Brad's suspect number one.
No, but
Here's the problem, though.
I would hope that Jacob Trouba would literally pound them 6 feet into the ice.
What were you going to say, Rob?
But it's not that like, the players should police. I agree with you, Brad, right? But the problem is the league itself, right? Let me finish, please.
Okay, sorry.
Right? The problem is the league itself. We see the NFL protecting the quarterback. We see MLB protecting the pitcher. Where are the rules protecting the goaltender?
I don't understand it. I don't understand it. You know, it's one thing if he comes out to play the puck, okay, and they get checked. Okay, I could see that. But when they're in the blue, they're not supposed to get run over. I mean, it's disgraceful. And you know, the Rangers didn't want to react last night because it's a 1-1 game, and they don't want to give up a power play. You know, which was very. I respected the fact that they were disciplined. But you know, the other night, Shesterkin punches the guy back, and he gets a penalty when he gets run over.
Makes no sense.
Yeah, you know, I don't want to sound like a baby about it, but come on.
I mean, my question is this, and we see it more often than probably not, and I don't know because I didn't get to watch any of the games on Saturday, but how many times is a player being run into the goalie because the defender's trying to clear the front?
That was not the case. You can also.
I'm not saying it was the case. I'm just throwing that out there to play devil's advocate because like I said, I didn't watch the game on Saturday.
Yeah, he was.
So I don't know for sure.
Basically, he got. I think it was Hughes. He got knocked down. Okay, and he got knocked down going from side to side, and instead, while he was falling down, he decided to change his angle and twist and turn towards Igor and knock Igor into the net. You know, I mean, it's just it's disgusting that would be that they're allowed to do that.
Well, I think
could be a whole balance thing too.
Chris saying here that the Flames were running Ottinger every game last year, and I was yelling the same damn thing last year as well. Now, the thing is, though, we also have to take into account that as rules get put into place and as evolution of the game continues forward and changes happen here and there, really crafty veterans or dirty players, they're always going to find a way to skirt it. They're always going to find that little middle ground, that gray area that they can get away with. And also, we have to remember in the playoff time as well, refs tend to put the whistles in the pocket, and they tend not to blow them nearly as much as they should, which unfortunate, but it does happen at this time. Hey, what's up, Ted? Giving $9.99 to us. Thank you very much.
Teddy, that's the love, buddy. Appreciate you.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's a Price is Right price too. It's not $10; it's $9.99.
Right. Well, only difference is it's not a brand new car at the other end of the curtain, unfortunately. But he does go on to say, best show on A2D. This super chat is only for these four. You guys don't throw fits when we disagree with the hosts. Brad, Rob on Sports Hounds is a jerk to you, Brad. Put gambling degenerate in his place.
Whoa. Oh, come on now.
Shots fired. Damn.
Listen, you know what? I can agree to disagree. He says sometimes he gets himself a little overexcited, but you know, I kind of instigate him too. So let's be honest, okay? I know how to push his buttons.
Yeah.
So when he gets really mad at me, understand that it's probably deserved because you know I like to tease him, like to tell him Jalen Hurts is the 5th best quarterback in the league. Now he's not, but I like to say that just because I know it's going to make him very angry.
You boys been doing it a long time.
Huh?
You boys
We've been doing it together a long time. Yeah.
And one thing to remember real quick. I'm sorry. One thing I'll say real quick is that, you know, nobody's being inauthentic here, but don't mistake a radio persona for a person. You know what I mean? Like when the camera's on, all of a sudden people wind up saying outlandish shit. It happens.
Not me.
No, yeah. You're
not Mr. Switzerland. God forbid he comes down on any side of the fence there.
100% of the time, facts.
There. I see. I did it again. The Switzerland thing. Didn't
Yep,
I?
see? You lived up to your moniker. I'm proud.
I would never badmouth my host, my co-host. Excuse me. So I wouldn't do that. He's a good man. We've been doing it for a while, and again, as I said, it takes two to tango. Remember that. And I do like. One of the things I really enjoy, and I don't know if Rob really gets it sometimes about that, is that I do love to just bust his chops a little and get him all upset, because I know exactly how to get him upset, and it's pretty funny because when he's upset, he's very entertaining. In case you haven't noticed.
Frank's saying, hello, pals. Aho. Yes, the mirror match. You know how back in the day when you would play an arcade fighter and you would have a mirror match where you'd face your guy that you picked for that arcade run? That's pretty much what we got in Carolina and the Islanders. We got an Aho mirror match going on right now. It's beautiful to see.
They're not related either, right?
No,
Nope.
They are not related at all.
One's from Sweden, one's from Finland, I believe.
I believe so.
And I mean, it's not like is that a common name?
I guess it is. I mean, Bork's is a very common name, and so is Wa. So it's just like it's the same thing with some of the French names, and obviously O'Reilly and Carlson. God, Carlson. How many times have I gotten confused on which Carlson we're talking about? Like literally every show, I used to get freaking confused by that. So
Nice save, a Sorokin.
all right.
By the way, Brian, your Golden Knights the other night, very impressive.
Oh, they've been uber impressive, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, they've really turned things around, because you know what, they were looking a little scary, shaky in that series.
Oh yeah, especially that first game. But they've settled in a little bit. Broussard, or however you say their goaltender's name, he's showing some poise in that. I mean, the Jets haven't really helped themselves. Having Mark Stone back, it absolutely helps.
I just saw the highlight of Hogan smacked in the face with the puck, and then it just lands right.
His
and of course they score immediately right after that.
Boy, don't you feel like a piece of shit right at that moment? Just get smacked in the face with the puck, and then the other team scores.
Yeah, no, the puck goes off your face right to the guy, right onto the other guy's stick, and he scores.
Oh,
When you had a bad day.
Yeah.
You take your warm there.
He just hit that.
busted
Rob just
him
hit that
open
one
in
on
here.
the nose. Good job.
It busted him wide open in here. He's all stitched up. Both sides of his lip are all fat, and he's all swollen and bruised already. It's God, I love playoff hockey.
Yeah, but he's out there again.
Oh yeah, he's fine. He's good.
He's
a hockey player. He'll shake it off.
He may have had a tooth or two pulled, but he's all stitched up. He's back out there.
It's all right. Who needs teeth? Let's see here. Don saying, what's up, fellas? What's up, Don? I do believe we have a Sarah Jessica Park sighting. So there we go.
Yeah, these guys busting Barnes balls. But hey, appreciate you though. I appreciate the love. Saying best show on the network, man. That's high praise. There's a lot of good ones. We just saw a new one debut earlier.
Yep.
Yes.
Guy was talking some baseball, man. Freaking, I was like, man, we're like simpatico.
Yeah, so check him out. It's called The Strike Zone. His name is Matt Downing. Check him out at 7:00. I believe he goes live every Tuesday night just before us.
Nice. I do love the name too. That's a great name too for the show. I can't believe no one thought of that before, at least for here. But that's all. I love that name. Badass name.
We got 2 more coming.
Nice.
We got 2 more on the way.
Nice.
I just hope Frank the Tank figures out his situation here and he gets going a little bit. I would love to have him on with us.
Absolutely. And Spoopy, by the way, saying 2 Sebastian Ahos playing one against another. I know. It's crazy, right? So, gentlemen, let's dive into it. Talk about what we've been seeing in the first round. I know we've been talking about it a little bit here, but let's jump into it series by series. So, starting things off, talk about the Bruins and the Panthers. We'll get the least exciting one out of the way first. So, unfortunately, like we've stated before, this one has gone pretty much the way we expected it to. While Boston hasn't necessarily devastated Florida in terms of like consistent play, they've had some sloppy moments here and there. Florida's really struggled to keep up with Boston all the same. Doesn't really matter. It's even without Bergeron and without Krejci, it has had absolutely no effect on the Bruins. They still managed to put a 6th spot on the Panthers 2 nights ago. And it's looking like they're going to finish this series off in 5 as they beat Florida in both games at Sunrise. So is there any way at all that the Panthers can get back in this series? Or do you, and keep in mind too, Bergeron is supposed to be playing game 5. They're saying
Right.
he is likely for game 5.
Which isn't going to help the Panthers' chances. I mean, they're getting Ekblad and Duclair back, so that will help. But I thought Florida, was going to surprise some people, especially when they came back and won game 2, 6-3, and really dominated in Boston. But to lose not only one home game, but 2 in a row, that's a slap in the face. It's hard to come back from that.
Oh, let's just rub it in, Rob.
I didn't mean it like that.
No,
but that's been the story with these whole playoffs. At one point, wasn't it? Or what was it? I think it was. Home teams were 1-11.
Yeah,
The Kraken were the only team to win at home.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's
out
pretty
of all teams too.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just your team, my friend.
Yeah. No, listen. The Rangers won 2 there too. So yeah. You know what? I think part of it is that sometimes these playoff teams they play at home and they just get too nervous. And they get too fancy and they want so badly to please their home fans that they get away from playing their game. I really think that has a lot to do with it, because there's no other. As far as the Rangers guys, I've been saying it all season. They've been a better team on the road than they have been at home, and God knows why. I don't know why that continues to be a issue for them, but it's carried into the playoffs, and it seems like they're not the only ones.
Yeah, I see that. So we got Larry Aquilino saying a pleasant good evening from South Carolina. Well, pleasant good evening to you, sir. Hope everything is nice and warm down there in South Carolina.
Let's go Caves.
Might be a little bit warmer than we are. We're in the 70s right now. It's actually really nice out right now.
Nice.
Little chilly up here.
Unfortunately, we're kind of in the 40s, 50s range right now.
Yeah.
I love that at night. I love that at night, though. Like, I don't mind it being 40, 50 at night and warm during the day. We're good.
And let's see here. Spoopy saying, Brad, did you see Delino DeShields Jr. getting hit in the cheek by a high 90s fastball 3-4 years ago? His cheek was insane.
Yeah.
I don't remember the incident, honestly, Ryan, but that's I do remember one guy whose cheek was insane. Do you guys remember the Tony Conigliaro incident back in the 70s? Did you guys ever hear about that one? The Red Sox had a young player by the name of Tony Conigliaro, and he got hit in the face. Oof. And this guy was a big time slugger. He was like in his 3rd year, and he was gonna be the guy, and it ruined his career. And there was a picture of him in Sports Illustrated on the cover. This was back in the real early 70s, like maybe 71, 72, 70, something like that. And I think it was Eddie Watt that hit him. And his whole face was just a big black and blue mark. It wasn't just his eye. He got hit in the eye, but it was horrible. I never saw anything like that. Well, I know you're a little young for that, but boy, oh boy, that was even as a Yankee fan at that age, I still hated the Red Sox at that age too. But even as a Yankee fan, you're like horrified to see something like that. You don't like anybody to get hit in the face by a baseball.
No.
Or a hockey puck, or anything of that matter.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Vlad Guerrero, it's getting to that point where, well, maybe, a glancing blow wouldn't be so bad, but a direct hit, you don't want that.
So Swoopy, if you want to join the fam, or well, you're already part of the fam, but if you want to join the on-stream fam, and everybody can see your face and hear what you have to say, you might want to talk to Tom and see what you can do to get a show there, my man. Don't worry, you have friends. You have us. What are you talking about? Of course you have friends. Anyway. Oh, okay,
kidding.
right.
I'm just
All
kidding.
right.
I'm just kidding.
See, Bryce is like, I'm sorry, I must thumb my nose up at you now.
I fought in your general direction.
Your mother was a hamster and your father smelled of elderberry. Now go away before I taunt you a second time.
Well,
Yes.
Swoopy, I would say this. I know you got my broadcast partner all hot and bothered when you talked about the fact that the Eagles' pass defense wasn't good. I mean, you had the guy ranting and raving for like 3 weeks. Thanks a lot.
Oh boy.
See, this is what Swoopy does. He finds
boy.
your buttons and he's got to push them. That's a good thing. That's what you want.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, only I'm allowed to do that though.
Okay, I see. He stepped on your toes there. I see.
No, I'm just kidding about that. He knows that.
They can't do that to our pledges. Only we can do that to our pledges.
Yeah. There you go.
Swoopy also saying Matt Barzell reminds me of Claude Giroux in multiple ways. They do so many things alike. If Barzell has that ability to just come out of nowhere and score a real clutch goal, Giroux would do the same thing. All of a sudden, you'd be like, oh my God, the Flyers really need a goal right now. And then Giroux would just find a way to score it. I remember one game against Columbus, he scored from like the most impossible angle on... Oh my God, was McElhaney still in goal at that time? I forget who was in goal for Columbus. Some schmuck they put in behind the net. But anyway, point is that he tied the game up for the Flyers and they won in overtime. I'm like, more proof that he was a wonderful captain and we did not deserve him. But anyway, moving on. Let's say, Metal Mike's here.
He's a terrific player, Giroux.
He
really
is. Did the
It's
Phils win?
5-2 at the top of the ninth.
Okay. Let's see.
Seattle's tough, guys. They're a real good team. They might be the champions of the American League. Just to give you guys a Yankee fan in the American League's point of view about Seattle. They're tough.
They've come a long way, yeah.
Yeah, they're a dangerous team.
Jerry DiPoto's turned into an excellent exec.
Yeah, he has.
So diving in here. Oh, Dallas just scored to make it 3-0. So
the dreaded 3-goal lead.
Yeah, it is only the second too, so there's still time left.
Yeah, well, Tampa Bay learned about the dreaded 3-goal lead last night.
Oh, they certainly did. So Metal Mike saying thoughts on the umps or the alcohol rub to clean off rosin bags. So I'll let the baseball gentleman take care of that one. But
I have no idea.
Well, it's insane to use alcohol to do that because all alcohol is going to do is suck up the moisture and it's going to make the rosin stickier. It's not going to make it wash off. You're sucking out the moisture from the rosin. You know what I mean?
That's how Scherzer got himself in trouble because he thought the alcohol would take it off, and it made it stickier. And
that's what the league tells you to do, though, Brad. That's what the league tells you to do.
Yeah, and the umpires thought he was taunting him. That's why he ended up getting the suspension. And I think that I think they should have cut him a little slack because exactly the league. That's what the league tells you to do.
They were making an example of him because he's one of the biggest player union rep. You know what I mean? And he was showing them up. And what was it? I forget that ump's name. I think it's Phil Casey. He's been
Phil
the
Cuzzy?
only Phil Cuzzy. He's
that
been
old
the only
guy,
one
right?
to do this now 3 times out of any ump.
Yeah, well, Phil Cuzzy is kind of a jerk. So
right,
yeah. So
Prism saying Marchman on a rebound for the goal for the Stars. So, gents, Might as well dive into it since we had a quick segue to that beforehand. Tampa and Toronto. I mean, last night, what a comeback for the Leafs. I mean, they were down 4-1. 4-1. And this is the second time in a row, by the way, folks, that Tampa has pissed away a game that they had won because they decided to fall back and try to protect the lead in Game 3. They paid the ultimate price for trying to play that kind of game. Toronto eventually broke through and got a goal. Even though they were holding them to limited opportunities, the Leafs took advantage of them. And at the end of the day, Tampa lost Game 3. Go into the next game, and it seems like they're going to win this one and tie the series up. It seems like a surefire thing. What do? Take your foot off the gas. And sure enough, job gets done. Toronto comes all the way back, and they manage to win in overtime with one of the biggest goals since I would say it's the biggest overtime goal that the Leafs have had. Hell, it's probably since.
I can't remember a bigger goal that they've ever scored, to be honest with you.
Maybe Sundin?
Yeah, that's exactly who I was thinking. And that was like, what, 0-2? I think it was when that goal got scored. So it's been a good long while since they've had that kind of a clutch overtime goal. So, gents, we're setting up for a Game 5, and we're heading back to the Air Canada Center. That's the other thing to keep noted. We're heading back to Toronto. Both of these fuck-ups from Tampa were in Tampa. So, gents, are we looking at Toronto winning in 5? And keep this in mind, Toronto's been in this position before. They pissed away a 3-1 lead to Montreal. So, it's not unprecedented that the Leafs could fuck this up.
And Boston. Don't forget Boston, and they also had a 5-0 lead in the third period against Boston.
Right
in a Game 7. That may have been the worst. Was that the worst one? You think?
That was the worst collapse they've probably had ever in franchise history.
5-0, and it was like there was like 9 minutes to go.
Right, and then Tyler Seguin scored that OT winner on James Reimer, and that was the end of it. That was all she wrote.
Yeah, and Reimer was never heard from again in Toronto.
Nope, he went to San Jose, I think, right after that. Yeah. So, anyway.
He Bucknered it.
Yes. So, gents, we're back. We're heading back to Toronto. Big Game 5. Do we see Tampa getting back into this series? Does Toronto piss this one away, or does Toronto finally do what they have been unable to do since 2004 when they've made it to the playoffs? Win around.
I mean, I absolutely think Tampa Bay gets back into this one. They're too good to not. Andrei Vasilevsky is too good to not be to allow this team to get eliminated 3-1 in the first round. I mean, Tampa Bay's starting to find their way back to being a normal team. And by that, I mean not getting to the Stanley Cup final, regardless of winning or losing for multiple years straight. But I think Toronto's showing a lot of resilience. I think Toronto's showing a lot of guts, especially in Game 4 there to really come back and win that game in overtime. Heading back to Toronto, I think that crowd's going to be loud. I think that crowd is going to be out of control. But I think Tampa Bay is going to come back and they're going to answer that 4-1 deficit, that 4-1 comeback with a win of their own, and they're going to force Game 6 back in Tampa. I think this still winds up going 7.
All right, then.
My bracket hopes so.
I think Brian, you hit the nail on the head. Tampa Bay is a proud team. They're not going to just go roll over and die. No way. They're going to win Game 5. You watch. Toronto's going to do something stupid and find a way to lose Game 5, and then the fans are going to get all nervous and upset, and then Toronto will find a way to win in Tampa Bay, and that'll be the end of it. That's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, and I think Tampa Bay does a great job of, after coming back from a loss, is getting back to playing 20 minutes at a time, shift by shift, and winning 20 minutes, then winning the other 20 minutes, then winning the other 20 minutes. And Andrei Vasilevsky is the type of goaltender where if he loses, he usually doesn't lose a couple in a row. And unfortunately, we've seen that. And he's got to respond at some point. And I think he responds in game 5. And I think he responds really well in game 5. That defense just has to be much better in front. And I think they're going to be.
You know what? I do think that they really miss Ryan McDonough, guys. I think that's. I mean, losing him, and they lost. They didn't lose him because they wanted to lose him. They had to get rid of him because of the salary cap problems.
Right.
You know, I think that's a huge loss.
Right.
Because he wasn't good offensively anymore, but he's still outstanding defensively for them.
Now, Mean Metal Mike was bringing up a couple of interesting ones. He was saying that Canadian teams in the playoffs have a history of pissing away series leads. He's not wrong. There's been a few.
Yeah.
He also goes on to say, remember, no one expected the 05-06 Oilers to go all the way to the Cup. No one expected that team to go to the finals that year. They did. They went all the way to the finals. They took the Carolina Hurricanes to 7. Now, the better team did win at the end of the day, but that was quite a run for an 8th-seeded team to go all the way, and had a few upsets. They beat the Sharks, that were considered one of the top contenders for the Cup that year. I believe they beat Detroit as well that year. So did they face – who else they face? Either way, that Oilers team went on quite a run. So no one saw that coming.
Your boy Pronger was a beast in that playoff run.
Yeah,
He was unbelievable.
Funny part is, I think his wife was the main reason why he decided to head to Anaheim. I mean, great news for Bry. Very good news for him.
we wouldn't have that cup without him. We wouldn't have that cup without him.
Right.
Now, oh yeah, Rob.
Real. No, what were you about to say, Matty?
I was just going to read off the last comment. Go ahead.
All right, I'm going to go to disagree with the two boys, man. I think Toronto actually bucks the trend of the Canadian teams and actually gets it done for the first time, setting up a really good matchup of Boston, assuming that they beat Florida as we are, and the Maple Leafs in round 2. I mean, for me, Brad alluded to it before. Riley's been the difference maker here for the Maple Leafs, given that calm presence on the defensive on the blue line that the Leafs really haven't been used to seeing in the playoffs. I've been surprised at how much, as good as Toronto is at scoring goals, how many goals have been scored really on both sides, but certainly by the Maple Leafs in this series. Vazzy letting in 19 goals in this series. I don't really blame them too much, man. It's the team in front of them. Maybe they are missing McDonough. They're just not playing good hockey like we've seen this team. They've been playing old, slow hockey in front of them, and Vazzy's been paying the price. Could Game 5 be a repeat of Game 1 where Vazzy went in and helped them win 7-3? Sure, absolutely. Going back, changing locale, that could happen. But still, Toronto still potted 3 in that game. Man, I don't want to see it. I had the Lightning moving on, but I think the Leafs get it done.
All right, then. Mean Metal Mike's final comment here was, last Canadian team that had a deep run was the 2016 Senators that lost to Pittsburgh in conference finals. I would disagree with that. That is not true. Actually, the last Canadian team to have a deep run was the 2021 Montreal Canadiens, who went all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. And that was also unexpected because no one was picking the Canadiens that year. That's also the same year Toronto pissed away their 3-1 series lead on them, and then Montreal swept Winnipeg. Then they beat Vegas. I don't know how they did it, but they fucking did it. Well, actually, I do know how. Call Carey Price. That's how they did it. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to remember too, Maddie. That was the wonky year where they had to use like
they had the
24
bubble
teams in the playoffs.
Yeah, that was the bubble
and they split it up all weird.
Yeah, because they had the Canadian division, which they called the North Division, where all the Canadian teams played each other. And then they had the playoffs formatted like they did back in the 80s, where the top 4 teams would go in, they'd face each other. And then the difference was when they got to the semis, they reseeded everything. So that's how Montreal ended up facing Vegas in the semifinals. That's how we had Tampa facing the Islanders again. And then we had an East versus East Stanley Cup Finals, which is always interesting. It'll go down in history as probably Yeah, it'd probably be the most unique Stanley Cup final in history. And by the way, Montreal made history in that run anyway because they're the only Canadian team and the only NHL team in together to win both the Clarence S. Campbell Bowl and the Prince of Wales Trophy. Both conference titles they have on their shelf. No other team will ever do that again. So
Unless we have another pandemic, unfortunately.
well, let's just hope that
not.
doesn't happen again.
Well, obviously, we're hoping that doesn't happen again.
Ted said, I'm really getting my hopes up for the draft lottery. Me and Robbie, how are you guys dealing with the lottery? Just ignoring, or how do I lower expectations? I mean, the lottery at this point, I'm hoping for the best, but I'm expecting us to kind of just stay where we're at. You know, I'm praying that we somehow, some way, by sheer dumb, foolish luck, that we snag a first overall pick. If we manage to pull that off, it'll be a miracle. It'd be the biggest miracle in Philadelphia sports history right there. And yes, I am including the Eagles Super Bowl victory in that. Honestly, at the end of the day, it will be the biggest miracle in Philly sports. But I'm expecting us to probably stay at 7. And that's pretty much where we're going to go. Robbie, how are you feeling on that?
You know, I don't like to sweat what I can't control, and you can't control that. You know, where you're going to, you know what I mean? You are where you are. You're going to land where you land. But bottom line is that I don't really care. Even if they do finish 7th or anywhere up, you're going to get a talented prospect in this draft. And if you ain't finishing first, you're finishing last, right? Because you're not getting Bedard. So what does it really matter?
Because Bedard's going to SoCal. Bedard is going
off.
to SoCal.
Bry over here saying, like, see how awesome I am.
We need something to brag about. Jeez Louise. It's been a long time since I had anything to brag about with this team.
Well, it has been a long season for you guys.
It's been a brutal season.
Oh, shit. This just in. The Flyers will trade Couturier, TK, and their first-round pick to Anaheim for their first-round pick.
Yeah.
And by the way, also,
and then Anaheim will end up getting
big news.
I'm getting breaking news, too, as well. Anaheim has officially accepted this deal, and they're going to flip that first-round pick to the San Jose Sharks because they feel bad, and they're just going to take the 6th overall pick. That's where they're going.
Boy, they can't at least Rob made it a little believable there, Matty.
Anaheim would never feel bad for San Jose.
No,
I don't think so.
No, that is true.
He had me up until that point. He's like, because they felt bad. I'm like, no. No. You don't feel bad for anybody.
No.
They should feel bad for. Why would they feel bad for a team that finished better than them?
They wouldn't.
Exactly.
They wouldn't. And they also hate that team. Those
hey Tori, how
three
you
California teams hate each other. So.
Oh, they do, especially the two in Southern California.
Yep. I mean, no question.
I mean, there's no guarantee that even Bedard winds up in Anaheim, but Anaheim is guaranteed a top 3 pick. And I'll tell you what, as much as I want Bedard, I will be happy with Bedard, Adam Fantilli, or Leo Carlson. All 3 are franchise-changing players. And if it wasn't for Bedard, Fantilli would be the number 1 guy. And
Fantilli, I've heard a lot of good stuff about him.
Fantilli, like Bedard, is an all-around playmaker and is good passing the puck, has great vision, can skate, brings great speed, creativity, all that other fun stuff. Same thing with Bedard. So if we finish 1 or 2, I'm good.
Bedard has a little bit more scoring touch, but it's not the difference isn't as big as you might think it is.
No, it's really not. And you know, these guys, I believe Adam Fantilli is Bedard is in the OHL, and I think Fantilli is either he's either in the I think he's in the WHL. But either way, anyway, you know, it's different leagues, but all in all, like, you can't go wrong with any of the top 3 guys. You just can't. There's
can't really go wrong with the top. Can't really go wrong with the top 5 guys.
No, honestly. Absolutely. No, I totally agree. And as far as what Ted was asking, like, my 2 cents on this is, to me, if the Flyers wind up with a top 5 pick, that's an automatic win. Because
I agree.
I think the top 15, top 20 guys here are within 2 years of being an NHL player. Obviously, outside of the top 3, which can make an impact almost immediately.
Yeah, listen, you don't really know it when these guys first come up into the NHL. You don't really know if they're going to have an immediate impact. Sometimes it takes these guys a season and a half, sometimes 2 seasons to really show what they got. I mean, it took Hughes 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Hughes wasn't good
Right.
until year number 3. So
Mhm.
it's not and Hughes is a great player. As much as I want to see somebody beat the snot out of him, he's still a great player. I can't deny that.
Yeah. No, I get it.
So Dylan's saying Gary Bettman rigging the lottery for Calgary with a 0.5% chance to get Connor McDavid versus Connor Bedard in the Battle of Alberta because it's money.
Oh,
All right, that's never going to happen. He hates Canada.
I mean, that's true.
He
So
hates Canada. He'll rig it for the Coyotes before he does that.
But the Coyotes are going to get Austin Matthews, so it doesn't matter.
speaking of, well,
But they'll get Matthews and Bedard.
Oh, SoCal needs somebody.
oh, there you go. And they'll still not make the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
And they'll still be bottom feeders.
Yes, they will.
That'd be
'Cause
the
you can't-
biggest
'cause two
offense of
players-
them all.
Yeah, two players is not going to make a difference for that franchise.
So, speaking of Canada, jump into Vegas versus Winnipeg. This series has been, I will say this, Winnipeg has been fighting very hard to try and keep this series interesting. And I can't say that it's been a disappointing series. Sure, Winnipeg is down right now, but this has not had it easy. Winnipeg has come out firing on all cylinders. I think the problem is, though, they're kind of living and dying a little bit by Hellebuck. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Hellebuck's been bad or anything, but I think he's had his struggles in the series, but I think he's also had his struggles just period. He's not it's what happens. You get a little older and what have you. But again, though, give credit to Winnipeg. They've been making it a tough battle for the Golden Knights. Do you think Winnipeg could turn things around, or do you think after the 2 games here in Winnipeg, Vegas should pretty much have this taken care of? Or do you think Vegas is going to start having some fuck up there, since Vegas has seemed to have a habit of doing that in the playoffs?
Before we do anything, we got to go down to Joe's comment.
Yeah, Joe's comment right here. Yes, he does.
See,
Bonus points if you know who it is, Joe.
Yes, Joe.
But to jump into what you were saying, I think Vegas has this pretty much sealed up here. I'm looking at some of the analysis for some of the series so far. Winnipeg needs to get Vegas on the penalty kill as much as they can. Their penalty kill hasn't been all that great. They're at 77% for the series. And the power play for Winnipeg has actually been pretty good. It's been one of their lone bright spots, just shy of 20. But, they're putting up points, man. But just Vegas is just putting up more.
Here's a question for you, Bri. Is you think Sheffiely's going to play Game 5?
Why wouldn't he?
Isn't Sheffiely hurt?
Yeah, upper body injury in Game 4. He's in the hopeful category according to this report, but
yeah, I mean that's why I'd be very hesitant to think that they can.
I mean, I know he took that. I know he took a funky run into the boards the other night off a breakaway. But I didn't realize
he got hurt.
Actually,
Yeah,
I didn't realize he had gotten hurt.
Let's put it this way: if he does play, he's probably not going to be 100%. And
no, probably not.
They need him really bad.
I mean, how many of these players at this point are 100% anyway?
Yeah, no, I hear you. But there's 90%, and then there's like 50%.
Yeah, I mean, I think with it being an elimination game, I think Scheifele is going to play. I think he's going to give everything that he has. But I just, as good as Winnipeg has been in this series, Vegas has just been better.
So, I mean, Winnipeg right now, where they're at, it's going to be a tough. It's a mountain to climb. It's a really steep mountain to climb right now to get back in this series against Vegas. But is it impossible? No. Is it likely? No. Unfortunately, I would love to see a real huge upset from Winnipeg over Vegas, just so that I can point and laugh at Vegas after they win all in to try and win a cup again and they fuck up. But that's okay. And Swoopy's saying yes to Aho, so I'm assuming that means
Aho
Carolina
scored.
Aho just scored.
Yep.
Sebastian Aho scored. Which one?
The one on the Canes.
I had a feeling it was going to be the
3-2.
Canes. Yeah.
Yeah. The Islanders with some loose play in their own end in front of the net, and they made him play. The puck was overskated. That's just poor coverage, and a giveaway behind the net. You can't do that.
So I'm going to say right now, the next thing that's got to happen is on the tying goal for Carolina.
Oh, you're already talking time.
Yeah, but here's where we go. On the tying goal for Carolina, the puck has to smack the other Sebastian Aho in the face, and then the Hurricanes can slide the puck in, and then there you go. We've got a tie game, and both Sebastian Ahos got smacked in the face with the puck. Now it's perfect.
I mean, I was going to say that's sweet redemption right there for that goal earlier that Brock Nelson scored for the Islanders.
Yeah, well, that was just incredibly unlucky, though.
But it would
absolutely.
also be symmetrical too. Perfect
Yes.
symmetry. That's how it's supposed
symmetrical.
to be.
6 points for
It goes up and
Sebastian Aho.
down and around. It's circular.
All right.
Man.
So, on top of that, Mean Metal Mike saying Toronto versus Seattle Cup. That would be very intriguing.
Wow.
No way that's going to happen. Toronto maybe, but Seattle is not. You know what? I'm surprised that they're giving Colorado such a run. But remember, Colorado also is missing two pretty good players right now. So
Right.
that's they're missing their captain, which is really really tough. That's
Ooh.
that's tough for them. And oh boy, Colorado, is that going to be a penalty shot? Because he was ahead of the field.
Could be.
Carolina might be getting a penalty shot here. I'm not
No,
sure.
power play.
No, it's just
No,
a
it's
power
just a
play.
power
It's a
play,
power
okay.
play.
Oh, okay.
It's a huge opportunity, and their power play has been pretty good in this series.
So let's see here. Joe also saying Edmonton has to win tonight. They absolutely do. Swoopy saying, so is Atlanta bringing another NHL franchise to their city? If so, why? Makes no sense. Hasn't gone well the two times they did have a franchise. Go to AC or Houston. The only reason why this has become a bit of a buzz has been that a new arena was built in Atlanta.
Mhm.
And the owners of that arena do want to bring an NHL franchise. They have appetite for it. They would like to bring an NHL franchise back to Atlanta. But here's the thing, though. Is the NHL really ready to do another expansion? I'm not 100% sure if the league is ready for that right now. Only because think about the logistics of that, because you have 4 divisions. So say, hypothetically, you decide to expand. You got 4 divisions. So you're not just bringing in one team. If you want to make an even league, you'll have to bring in 3 more. So you've got 4 teams you got to bring into the league. Because the only reason you had to bring in 2 this time was because the way that you had realigned the league left the 2 slots open in the West. And that's why Vegas and Seattle are the 2 teams now.
Right.
Now you'd have to do it across the board. Right. So instead of having 8 teams per division, you'll have 9 teams per division.
That's
so, yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot to account for. Yeah,
that's too many.
Right. Just to touch upon Brian's point real quick before we get off it, man, I am surprised at the success that Carolina's had on the power play, because Islanders were a pretty good penalty killing team, whereas the Canes power play had really struggled during the regular season. But I just looked it up, man, 26.3% on the power play so far in this young series.
Absolutely. And then they had 2 power play goals off the bat in game 1. So, the power play finally found its way. And to Rob's point, especially towards the end of the season, the Canes power play has been ice cold. They haven't been able to convert on many. it's just been so bad. This was something that they were going to have to rely on to get through the series was to figure out how to get goals on the power play, and they figured it out in the series. So good for them.
It's got to be due to chalk it up to experience, right? I mean, this is a team that has been there, has the experience, has a veteran head coach now, knows how to turn it on when the lights are bright.
Yeah, and Rod Brindamore even said after game one that, the system that he has in place is built for this situation. Playoff hockey, it doesn't always work in the regular season, but he says once playoffs come, it's perfect for these guys because by this point, it's just another day. And I think that's a good mentality to have is especially for some of these younger players is treating these games just like any other, and just going a shift at a time and creating as many chances as you can and trying to hog up the offensive time. And we've seen that especially with this power play in this series, and it's leading to success.
It's been tight. It's been very, very tight going down here, and now it's big.
That's what she said.
Shut up time. Well done. Well placed, good sir.
I don't want to be that guy, but I'm pretty sure that she's not tight.
Nah, man, rejuvenation surgery. It works very
all right. What time was that? That is getting time stamped right now. That is getting time stamped.
Too much BBC destroyed that thing. Poor
This is all getting time stamped. This is going in.
Write it down, Maddie. Write it down.
106.19.
Yeah, 106.19. Thank you. That's
106.19.
106.19. Got you. Thank you, my good man. There we are. Time stamped and marked. Perfect. All right, then.
Hey.
So let's see here.
Carolina going back on the power play? Or is it going to be 5-0? Nope. 4-4.
Not that anyone's probably all that interested in the other game right now, but Minnesota is also on the power play. It's 3-0 still for Dallas in the second.
No, I'll be interested. I'll be interested at the end to see a few fights.
I'll be interested in 6 minutes and 51 seconds when this game is over.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
One game at a time, Maddie. One game at a time. My old brain can't handle all this.
There's 2 games on, and someone's got to take the other game. I will take the one for the team here, just like she would, and I will watch the lesser of the 2.
Wow.
Oh boy.
Hey now.
See, this is the problem with Robbie bringing in that avatar.
Yeah.
It's just like, what inspires you? Well, I don't think you want to know. So
professional train derailer right here. Well, I'll bring it back. I'll bring it back for you, Maddie. I will bring it back for you talking about this Winnipeg Jets Vegas Golden Knights series.
Sure.
What I've been noticing Jack Eichel thriving in his first taste of the playoffs and really being a difference maker already in 4 games, potting up 3 goals and an assist. Finally, the Vegas is getting the return on that deal.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Eichel has been thriving.
Eichel's been hot.
I think he's healthy. I think he's finally back to 100%, and we're seeing it. And it's coming at a great time for Vegas because they got to redeem themselves after last year, and boy, they need him because I think he's the future of the Vegas Golden Knights. If you look at that roster, yeah, they do have some young talent there, but he's the face. He's going to be the face of the Vegas Golden Knights moving forward.
Yeah,
despite the fact that Mark Stone has to see.
They gave up quite a bit for him, so he's got to be really.
So let's see. Mark Hooven, though, saying the Islanders are the most boring team I've ever watched. That's usually how defensive teams get labeled.
Yeah.
Usually.
Pretty much.
And he's also saying, let's go Canes. So.
I mean, even with the addition of Bo Horvat, they have some nice pieces on this roster, but they don't really have anybody exciting.
He hasn't done anything with the Islanders.
But
he had 30 goals in in like 65 games with Vancouver, and he's got like 5 in 30 games or 7 in 30 games with the Islanders, counting the playoffs.
I love Bo. I love Anders Lee. I love Matthew Barzal, but like there's nothing sexy about this offense.
No.
There's some nice pieces in place, but there's nothing sexy about them. There's no real offensive threat. I mean, it took Barzal how long to get his first goal of the year?
Yeah, that's true. That's
Reeves.
true. Thompson is a very good defenseman, and
Yes,
so is Pellick. I mean, they've got some real solid. They're real solid on the back line for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Reeves got nailed right in the face. Not sure if it was by a stick or it was by the puck, but either way, he's got a little cut from like right near the bridge of his nose going down underneath his eye.
Ooh. Oh,
And
he's a tough player. I'm sure he'll be okay.
Oh yeah,
That's
he's
the
fine,
playoffs.
but the coach of the Wild is pissed. There's no call on anything, so not sure what could have caused that. Might have been a
Maybe a
stick,
high
and that's
stick?
probably what he's pissed. Yeah, I'm assuming that's what it was, and that's what he's pissed about, as there was
Yeah,
no
that's what I'm
call
thinking.
made. Either way, still 5-on-5 on that game. So let's see here. Swoop, you are right. Islanders are very physical.
Both teams in
They
the
are
series
very
have been.
yes.
Yeah.
Say
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah.
Right. And you are right, Raska. Calgary is getting a new arena. Dylan also was celebrating the Calgary Flames got a new arena day right up here, saying, "What's going on, fellas?"
Really?
And
I
everything
like the
is
Saddle
fine,
Dome.
Dylan.
That's good. Then they're going to be in Calgary for a while. Then that's good to hear.
Yeah.
I'm glad
It
to
is-
hear that.
Yeah.
It is a cool arena, but unfortunately, it's outdated, and it's a lot of people. There's like a lot of horror stories of how beat up
Hey,
it is and everything.
it can't be any worse than Oakland Alameda County Stadium, man, where they have possums living in the press booths.
Yeah, that's
Damn right.
right.
True
That's
story.
right.
Damn right.
Well, they're going to be the Vegas A's now, so they got nothing to worry about in terms of that.
Yeah, I think that's said by 2027.
So, oh well. It
That's
sucks
it.
to be Oakland. They lost
yeah.
both their teams to Vegas.
Yeah, but you know
Vegas
what?
usually wins.
The A's. I don't blame them for not supporting the A's. The A's don't even try.
No.
They
No.
just completely stop trying and to turn their fans off, and that way
They
they
just
can
trade
get
all their good players.
Mhm.
Yeah,
They don't want to pay them.
yeah, and you can't run a baseball team like that. That's horrible.
And it sucks because you know what, that fan base is when that team is pumping and that team is good, that fan base is there. And
Oh,
that place
yeah.
gets loud.
Yep.
And you know what? It sucks. You know, it's good for the team, it's bad for the fans, and it's horrible for the owner because you know what? The owner has done nothing to help that team get any better. He's
No, it never
done nothing to
does.
get that stadium any better or get them a new one. So this has been a rumor for God knows how long, a few years now.
Yeah, I know.
Good. Get him out of Oakland. That city. I shouldn't say that city. That owner doesn't deserve him. Get him out of there.
No.
It's crazy, though, because if you look at the history of the A's, it's like the 4th time or the 5th time they've moved. Because they were in Philadelphia, then they moved to Kansas City,
Yeah.
Yep.
and then they moved to Oakland literally, like I think a season later after they moved to Kansas City. And now they're moving to Vegas. It's like, holy shit. But here's the funny part. This team has been successful, except for Kansas City, in both those locations. Obviously, I mean, everybody who's around the Philly area knows about the Athletics and how they were the AL team in Philadelphia, and they won a few
They were really good.
championships.
They were real
Yeah.
good. That team.
And with Connie Mack and everything, and then of course they go
Rusty
to
Grove.
Yep. And then they moved to Kansas City, but then they don't stay long enough to really form anything there. But then they went to Oakland, and obviously they won how many World Series out there?
3.
3.
I was gonna say 3, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, they've been successful in 2 of their
Are
3
they
locations.
second or third behind the Yankees in terms of
Third. The
championships?
Cardinals are second.
I was going to say I had to say the Cardinals had been. I
Yeah.
wasn't sure if they were ahead because of the Philly days.
Yeah. Well, they count. The Philly days count.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's the same franchise, so
Yeah, I was gonna say.
it
Yeah.
counts.
Yeah.
You know, I mean that was the team that kept Babe Ruth from winning 100 World Series. You know,
Yeah.
So again, it's just crazy to think about that. It's like, wow, a World Series caliber franchise that has fallen on hard times is now moving from the city where they won several championships
well they did
for
do
the
one.
second time.
They did do one great thing in Kansas City.
Left.
They traded Roger Maris to the Yankees.
Oh.
Right.
I was going to say, for a Royals fan's perspective, they probably would have said the best thing they ever did was leave.
Yeah.
So,
Well, maybe not the way the Royals have been playing lately.
they got 2 World Series. I think they'll be fine.
Oh, I don't know. I from what I've heard, they're not too happy right now because they feel like they're back in the same spot they were before.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing how they went all the way back down again.
Yeah. Well, tying this back into hockey.
Yes.
What just happened?
Oh, Carolina almost scored.
I thought Nate just had it. He
Oh.
just tipped it wide.
That tip was close.
Oh.
Oh, wow. Larry said the A's had 5 champs in Philly and they had 4 in Oakland. 9 World Series titles.
4 in Oakland? I don't remember the 4th one. Oh, that's right. I forgot about the Bash brothers. Of course, they choked to the Dodgers that one year.
Mark Hoven saying, nice tip. Don't know how it didn't go.
Well, Carolina is really putting on the pressure now. They have to. They have the empty net, so.
Yeah, it's 6-on-5 right now with a minute 42 to go. And they have not been out of this zone for the last at least minute.
The Islanders are looking like they're exhausted.
Oh, they absolutely are. They just cleared the zone now, though.
Yeah.
They're going to be able to get a couple guys off.
So tying this back in, so gents, let's talk about the series we've seen between the Kraken and the Avalanche. And I mean, obviously, we talked about how big of a moment it was for Toronto to come back in their game. What about a big moment for Seattle? Their first ever overtime goal victory in the playoffs at home. Jordan Eberle, go down in history as the guy who scores that.
In their first overtime game. In their first home playoff game too. Did that go in? Or that no that
No, I thought they
shot
it out. They shot that out. That didn't touch anybody. That's a delay game penalty.
Yeah, they're talking about it. I wonder if they're going to look at it.
Yeah, it went off. I can't tell who that was. That might have been Noah Dobson. That's a penalty.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if you can necessarily call that a penalty. That's a tough one because the puck was shot up and then he deflected it. Now it looked like he purposely did that, but that's going to be tough to call that a penalty though. But the thing is now Carolina gets a chance to rest their top players. Yeah,
on the other hand of that though, so do the Islanders.
Yeah, but to me, it's more important that their best offensive players can now play the rest of the game because they're getting a nice rest here.
If they call this delay a game, he absolutely.
Oh, he batted that puck out of the air on his own. He batted that up into the safety netting.
Yeah, that has to be a delay game.
Yeah, but did the puck hit the glass though?
I don't think it did. I think he actually hit it just enough so that it didn't actually. He smacked it perfectly, so it went straight up.
They're not calling it. It's all good.
It looked like it hit the glass. I mean, that's what to me it looked like that. So it's not being called.
Well, either way, I mean, it would be a close call, even if they did make it.
Ooh. I don't think you can make that call unless you're 100% sure.
Right. Yeah, so I think they did the right thing. Mark, I think he's right too. No call on that. That's fine. Yeah. That's fine.
Oh. Yeah, I'm good with the no call, but I mean, I'm good with it. They looked at it. It's not like they just put it in their back pocket and said, "We'll do this later." Put a pin in it.
Right.
So they gave it the time. So I'm good with the no call.
Right. Let's see here. So watching this, the third period dies out here. Islanders trying to hold on to push a game
Clinging.
6.
Clinging.
Oh, Gus
God.
almost kept it in.
Almost,
Oh.
almost. Puck does squeak
Oh,
out.
they cleared it. They cleared
Yep.
it. And that's good. That's probably going to do it now. Time for one
No.
more rush.
Unless they get a good pass. Nope, they do not. Good interception.
That's
Really
it.
well done there.
All game over. How do
All
you like
right,
that?
so there we have it. The Islanders are back in it. They have pushed a game 6. So we will go back to the UBS Arena for another go between the Islanders and the Hurricanes. Round 6 coming up for them.
And to say I'm surprised, I am not surprised.
No.
And Mark's like, well, fuck, heading to bed. Night, boys. Night,
Yeah.
Night, Mark.
Go
Be safe,
ahead,
guys.
Mark. Peace, brother.
Right? Yeah, it kind of sucks. It would have been nice to see the Islanders fall on their faces tonight, and losing 5 and be humiliated, but they're not because they're a team that has a lot of character and they don't quit. So
Okay.
Helps my first round game predictions a little bit.
Yeah.
well, I picked the Islanders to win that series.
Oh wow.
Bro, I went
actually
with
did
the upset.
too, yeah.
I
Yeah, I
had
don't
the
blame
Islanders
you.
upset.
Well, we
I
had
was
talked
gonna-
about how Hurricanes were coming, limping over the finish line, and that's why I had it going 7 at least. But I thought, just in the end, Islanders just wouldn't have enough offense to move on, and we're seeing that a little bit.
Right.
Well, I
So-
think Barzell is very important, and you know what? He looks like he's getting stronger as that series goes on.
Yeah.
Because he scored a big one on when was it, Friday night?
Scored a big one tonight too.
Yep. So I mean that's 2 big ones for him. And he was coming off a really bad injury, so so for him to be back out there and playing, he does make a big difference for the Islanders. It's amazing they were able to hang on and get the playoff spot without him. That's pretty that was pretty surprising.
Well, Larry's saying Carolina missing that one go-to man, and Spoopy says agreed.
We've been saying that for
he's hurt.
2 years now.
Yeah, they don't have Svechnikov, and Taravinov is out. Or
Yeah,
with Teravainen.
Teravainen.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's out. He's out too. So I mean, they're 2 top offensive players they're missing.
Yeah.
Quick, make a trade for Alex Tuck.
Yeah.
Too late.
Yeah.
Trade for Patrick Kane.
Yeah. Trade for
Give him-
Showtime.
give
We got to
him-
win the cup this year, boys.
Give him Panarin.
Yeah.
Screw up their salary cap for the next 10 years.
What salary cap? It doesn't exist. Fuck it.
Yeah.
That's a myth.
Boy, I'll tell you what. There's a guy that does not get it done in the playoffs right now. Panarin. I mean, it's the only really. I mean, I know he scored the overtime goal last year in Game 7 against the Penguins. Yes, he did. But he's had too many games where he's just disappeared in the playoffs.
Yeah. So,
including those 2 games at the Garden. Boy, Gallant really let his team have it, by the way, this morning. From what I heard.
Yeah, from what I heard, he unloaded on the Rangers. But to be fair, I think there was a understandable reason to unload on the Rangers on that one. I mean,
well, he unloaded on the first 2 lines. He had no problem with the kid line, and the fourth, he was happy with the fourth line. He was really, really mad at the first 2 lines for playing like such wimps, and not being physical and and standing around while the Islanders on the power play while the Devils were making plays. You can't do that.
So right now, LA and Edmonton just starting up, and it's still 3-0 as we get ready to head into the third period between Minnesota and Dallas. Now, tying back in, so after Seattle, they had that big victory. They tie the series up at 2 games apiece. We are going to get the full set of games in Seattle. We will get all 3 that we could have gotten here. Are we going to get a full set of games, though? Are we going to get a Game 7 out of this series? Or does one of these 2 teams, does Colorado rear back in the Ball Arena and then come back to Seattle to finish things up? Or does Seattle really give us something to think about and put Colorado on the razor's edge and force Colorado to have to try and come from behind? Gentlemen, what are you
I can see
thinking?
that. I can see Colorado doing that. I mean, Seattle doing that. Colorado doesn't have Landeskog, guys, and that's a tremendous loss. And they're missing somebody else who I can't remember, another important player. But the loss of Landeskog, as far as experience and as far as being the captain of the team and being in the locker room and all that sort of thing, that's a huge loss for them.
No, I mean, I totally agree. I mean, not having Landeskog hurts, but we've been talking about this a lot this season. Oh, what a save that by Korpisalo.
Oh yeah, I just saw that.
Wow.
But yeah, this Seattle team, like we've been saying this all season long, man. They're a gritty team. They make you work for it, and they've been making Colorado work for it, and they've been a hardworking team all season long, and they're a blue collar team that they're not out of any game, and they're going to make teams work to earn that W. And I think they're going to do the same thing again. I think this does wind up going 7, but ultimately I think Colorado's experience there is just going to be another big save is going to be what leads them to winning the series.
Right. You're on to that, man. I mean, they are a gritty team. They get underneath your skin too. And we saw that with Jared McCann getting absolutely washed into the boards by Cale Makar, like well after the puck was over into the safety netting. I think Makar's getting a 1-game suspension for that hit too. So they'll be minus him in game 5. But I don't know, have you heard about McCann's status in terms of his injury for game 5? That I don't know.
Questionable for game 5.
Yeah. They won't release it until they have to.
No, it's the NHL. You already know this.
Yeah. Right. But I mean, he's one of their top goal scorers, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially
so
in
it
the
would
series.
be a big loss for them too.
Wow,
but...
did he just make a great save? That was a great save by Korpisalo again.
Edmonton is all over the Kings right now, and they just took a penalty too, by the way. So, yeah.
How did that not go in?
Yeah, I don't know.
Korpisalo is standing on his head.
I
don't know how he saw that puck.
He is absolutely fucking just. He's bailing out the Kings right now. They are on their fucking heels in every way.
I mean, that last one was a shot off the pass, and the guy had a wide open net. And he kind of and he was being screened no less. I don't know how he was able to see that puck.
He probably didn't. The puck found him.
Yeah, that was an unbelievable save.
All right, so let's jump into the
automatic
second
Edmonton
period.
Will score now, though. You know that on the power play.
Yeah, now that we've said
power play so far in the playoffs is almost 40%.
Yeah, it feels like they scored every time on Sunday night.
It makes me. I want to. It's disgusting.
And Swoopy did say the style and speed the Seattle and Colorado series has between the two is fun too. Up and down the ice and speed from both teams for a full 60. And let's see here. So second period sponsor, dive into that. All Campus OC, home of the A2D ramp. Also John Coyle as well, the man, the myth, the legend, running it down there in Ocean City, New Jersey. He's giving 20% off of everything in the store, including hats, shirts, to all of the A2D subscribers. So get subscribed up, head on down, get yourself some of your favorite team's gear. Say hi to John, check out the ramp booth, and give some love to All Campus if you head on down to the shore. And also the first period sponsor, if you're looking to buy or sell a home or you have a change of career in brokerage, contact Alan Foy at eXp Realty LLC at 302-682-8820 or visit him at alan.foy at exprealty.com. Big move in life. Do it right. Go to Alan Foy. Okay, gents. So
I want to make an announcement real quick, guys.
Yeah, go right ahead.
This is for the Sixers fans, okay? Atlanta just beat Boston.
As a matter of fact, Ted has a comment on that too. Celtics blow the game and lose at home.
Yes.
Put
So
exclamation points at the
just
end.
for all, I just wanted to mention that because it's Philadelphia newsworthy. So I just wanted. I know it's hockey, but it's not hockey. But
Well,
thought I'd
it's
mention
still
it.
important. Yes.
Okay, that's why I just wanted to bring it up. Okay, go ahead, go back.
Okay. And Larry's saying, speed the Flyers don't have that in their vocabulary. Well, yeah, it's been a rough one for them. So let's dive into a couple of other matchups through the playoffs that we've been seeing as we continue to push forward here. We've seen a bit of an interesting battle here between we've already talked about the Rangers and the Devils a decent amount, but let's get everybody's opinion here. Brad has definitely thrown out his views on this a little bit. It's been an interesting one. It's been a road team series. No home team has won a single game so far. So I guess that's what we have coming our way in Game 5, a Rangers victory. I mean, maybe. So we'll see. But
you know what? I'm so disgusted right now with them. I sincerely hope that they can find a way to get themselves back on the beam again. But I mean, Jesus, they 2-0 lead, and they that game Saturday night. I'm going to be thinking about that all summer if they lose.
It's crazy to think about, too, because the Rangers wound up winning pretty handily in both games in the Rock, and then they go to the Garden. They lose a very close matchup in overtime to the Devils, Dougie Hamilton getting the goal. I did not expect Dougie Hamilton to score it, by the way. Thought it was, what a shot.
Evander Kane.
Oh, great. That just ruined
Playing well
it.
these playoffs.
Yes, he has.
Yeah, that
And
piece
you know
of
what?
shit.
Real quick, I'm gonna as much as I think he's a piece of shit, I'm gonna tip my cap to him tonight because there's a story coming out of LA where a young girl, I'd say probably like 10, 11 years old, was in LA on a road trip cheering for the Oilers in what is it now? Crypto.com arena or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Got spat on by an older male Kings fan.
Ugh.
And Kane defended her. And
Yes.
Kane gave her a signed jersey and a couple other things and just tipped my cap to Evander Kane for that. Like he's still a piece of shit to me, but you know what? That's absolutely commendable. And you know what? As much as that situation sucked for her, he gave her a memory that she's never going to forget.
Yeah.
For life.
So, all right. I'll give that to you, Kane.
He's a good human for doing that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He did a good thing there. And by the way, fuck you to that old Kings fan.
Yeah,
seriously.
What a jerk.
Yeah, oh, come on. Now, listen, I know Philly fans have a rep, but I have never heard of a Philly fan doing that. Like, that's fucking ridiculous.
Well, the Philly fan did throw up on a little girl on purpose.
He threw up. I mean, sometimes you can't control if you throw up.
No, he did it on purpose.
Yeah.
Oh, he did it on purpose? Oh, okay, never mind. All right. All right, so I'm just going to throw that out the window. Yeah, that is very nasty. What sport was this?
It was
a Philly game.
Oh, was that a Phillies game? Oh, my God.
I was just about to stick up and say Philadelphia fans have respect for women, just not Santa Claus, but apparently they have respect for nobody.
Apparently not. Never mind. Reputation back into the toilet it goes.
No, I'm going to give you guys a quick story. So me and my best friend, and she's commented on the show every once in a while, but me and her went to, and I blame myself for a little bit of this. We went to a Flyers Capitals game in the Wells Fargo, and we had two guys giving her shit the entire night. The entire night. They were calling her fat. They were calling her a whore. They were calling her all kinds of stuff.
Jesus.
What?
Yeah.
That's fucking ridiculous.
Some hot, and it's not all of them. Some Philly fans, they have no class whatsoever. Her dad found out about it. He grabbed one of them by the neck and threw him against the tunnel. Both of them got kicked out. None of us did.
Good.
He fucking
He
deserved
deserved
it,
it.
obviously. Her dad was absolutely in the right. Actually, he would have been in the right if he had actually, socked him dead in the fucking face. But,
He wasn't gonna sock him because one, they were just completely annihilated. Two, he wasn't trying to get kicked out of the game.
fair.
Yeah,
Still,
yeah,
though.
you don't want that to happen.
Nope.
But all the same, though, oh my God. Larry saying that an Eagles fan peed on a ladies Vikings fan. Jesus! Good Lord. Yeah, that's in the toilet right now. It just keeps getting deeper. At some point, we're just going to have to hit the flush button. We're going to have
The part that Larry's leaving out was the ladies Vikings fan asked him to do it. She wanted the golden shower. That's the
Oh boy.
Oh God.
I just like cracking you guys.
know what?
Up. That's the
I
only reason
think
why I'm here. I'm sorry.
No, you know what?
can't.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to
can't.
timestamp that. Yes, that's getting timestamped too.
Oh boy.
That is
We're
going
not
into
time
the
stamping
timestamp.
any of the hockey stuff that we're talking about that I think has been great conversation. We're gonna time
I got
stamp
three.
every-
I got three of those. I got three of those. You give me some more, Brian. We'll be set.
All right,
Yeah,
all
I'm
right.
sure
I
Rob's
just think it's
got
funny.
he's
What
he's
about
got that
Terry
taken care of.
O'Reilly and Stan Jonathan jumping into the stands at Madison Square Garden
Yeah.
and beating some guy over the head with his shoe?
Yeah.
Wasn't
he
that
tried-
Mike Milbury?
Well, but Milbury was involved too. Yeah, Milbury was the one that was beating the guy up with his shoe. But that's because one of the fans tried to steal Stan Jonathan's stick. I mean, really? This
God
is how
damn,
you,
Don.
yeah, well, he had a stick. He had a stick high. He had just high stick someone in the corner. And a Ranger fan reached over and grabbed his stick and tried to and pulled it into the stands. And he totally and he lost it. And they all jumped in the stands after the guy. And then they took he threw his shoe at him, and they took his shoe and started beating him over the head with it. The
That is
Bruins
pretty
did.
funny. That's pretty funny.
At least it
Yeah.
was just a shoe.
But
Yeah.
Don, good Lord.
He approved it from prison too.
Yeah, where he's going to be for the rest of his fucking life.
Yes.
Jesus.
He got what, 20 years for that?
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest here. I'm sure he's probably getting his ass beat or raped right now.
Oh,
Anyway.
It's possible.
Ooh,
Leon Draisaitl.
there
Oh
we go.
boy, what a play by Draisaitl! Wow.
2-0
Oh, boy.
As he's falling down, he puts it in. Jeez, what a talented player he is.
There's just, you can't even really put it into words. You just can't. With Draisaitl and McDavid, you just cannot put it into fucking words. You just sit back and you watch.
He was falling down when he shot that puck. Here, they're going to show it again. Now, was he actually falling down?
Oh.
Let me.
Not actually falling down, but momentum was taking him down. It was
Looks like-
almost Bobby Orr-like.
Yeah, it was kind of Bobby Orrish. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, he's falling down. He's in the air, falling down, and he has the presence of mind to put the puck in the net. Jesus.
But I couldn't tell who that was that picked up the rebound off the initial shot from Draisaitl. Whoever that was, kudos to getting to that puck quickly and getting it to McDavid behind the net. Otherwise, that play does not happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Now this is not new for Edmonton, for the Oilers with the Kings in this building. They've had these leads almost every game. This is the third game in Edmonton, and this is the third time they've had they gotten off to a quick start and gotten themselves a lead. Seems like teams that get ahead in this series don't seem to do all that well.
Nope.
Swoopy's saying for Draisaitl, best all-time German hockey player. I would tend to agree because
No
when
doubt.
you think by a good long mile, because when you think about it, you have your standouts like a Marco Sturm and what have you, but really at the end of the day,
Marco Sturm was good. He's not like this guy though.
No, he was nowhere near the level that Draisaitl is. So yeah, I would say absolutely Draisaitl's best German player of all time.
He's unbelievable, Draisaitl.
The kid in Ottawa's got a chance, Tim Stutzel.
Mhm.
True. Once
he's
Ottawa,
not bad.
I think Ottawa's they should be in the playoffs next year. If they do everything right, they should be in it. I mean, they almost got there this year. So they just a little bit down the stretch. They got a little shaky there. But they get back into the playoffs. Who knows?
I think it's going to be between them and Buffalo for the for that other spot.
Yeah, I could see that happening. Buffalo
But
and
if Buffalo gets
Ottawa
if Buffalo
rivalry
gets
over
a
something.
if Buffalo actually gets a goalie that isn't 100 years old. Well, actually, that guy they brought up towards the end of the season was pretty darn good. I can't remember his name now, but he was really good. He was good against the Rangers. Let's put it that way.
Levy,
yeah, he was really good.
Well, Buffalo has that kid, and he was pretty good in his short time in the NHL. So I'm not too worried about Buffalo's goaltending situation. I'm a little more.
But you know what? It's hard
there it is.
and
Alex Iafallo.
There it is. We got a 2-1 hockey game. Fifth shot for the Kings, and they managed to get a puck in the back of the net.
Good rebound shot there. Bad rebound by Skinner.
Oh, no, it was Iafallo.
Oh, okay.
Now, Iafallo, of course, had a huge OT winner, too, back in, what was it, Game 3? Or was it Game 4? No, it was Game 3.
3.
Yeah. Because Game 4 was the winner for Edmonton. And let's see here. Larry saying we group.
Really, Kopitar kind of made the play.
He kind of started to play, but Kempe took the initial shot, which created the rebound.
Right, but I mean, Kopitar with a guy all over him was able to feed the pass to start that whole thing. That was a heck of a play by the Kings.
That was a weird movie, Rob. Hollow Man. Oh, that movie creeps me out so much.
Edmonton almost got tied right there. Wow.
That was close.
Joe saying that's another off-season show idea. Top 5 players from each major hockey country: Canada, the U.S., Finland, Sweden, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Russia. Interesting to do.
That's not bad.
So we'll play later.
Oh, John Moore almost.
Don's funny.
Can you imagine if that would have trickled in? That would have been a goal that Edmonton fans would remember because it tantalizingly
that would be haunting them.
Getting it.
Oh
yeah.
That would haunt the shit out of them.
If I was a fan of that, that would bother me. That kind of goal.
Don saying the best Japanese or Chinese hockey player of all time. You're a funny guy, Don.
Wow.
Nick Suzuki.
Yeah, and he's not even Japanese. I mean, he's of Japanese descent, but I think he's Canadian. So
now it's 3-1. Kulak just scored.
Kulak with a big answer. That was a great pass.
Yeah, and it happens that fast.
See, this is what's so frustrating too, and the Kings have had to deal with this all series, which is why when the Kings were winning games, it's just like, damn, that's impressive. The Kings work so hard to get a goal, and literally Oilers just take it right back down to the ice and just say, "Oh, okay, they want to play. We'll just score on you now. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Well,
don't mind if we shit on you on the way out, right?"
Time to score again.
Bad defensive positioning on the Kings' part there. Whoever was the goalie or the defender.
Yeah.
Byfield is not a defenseman. He's a center.
No, exactly, and that's kind of where I was going with.
Yeah.
Where it was Kulak kind of snuck in there as the defenseman skated away and left Byfield on an island by himself. There was nothing he could do about that.
Yeah, Byfield's not a defenseman.
But congratulations to Brett Kulak for getting his first ever playoff goal in his career tonight. So good for him.
You know, if you were telling
Frank saying
a guy to score, he would be first on my list.
Probably not. Frank saying Taro Sugimoto is the best Japanese player of all time. Yes, and I do believe that he was legend of the Tokyo Katanas. With the, there's a good legend and backstory to that too. By the way, I believe it was the owner of the Sabres, or I forget what team he owned, but it was a prank. He said it was GM to make this announcement on the draft day because shit was taking too long. This is like the 7th or 8th round, and they just want to go home. So they said, "Yeah, we take Taro Sugimoto from the Tokyo Katanas," and they actually took it seriously for about 5 seconds until they realized, wait a minute. There's no Tokyo Katana. Oh, you motherfucker. They finally realized he was fucking around. Actually, no, I'm sorry. He even showed up on the training camp roster, believe it or not, too, even though he didn't exist.
He's not Japanese or Chinese, but he is of Korean descent. His father is Korean, so I'm going to throw Paul Korea's name out there.
Paul Correa?
Paul Correa. You can use him.
100%.
His father
say that before.
Yeah, his father's
Nick
Korean. His mother's
Suzuki
Canadian.
is a pretty good player.
Mm-hmm.
Right. What's his name? Park. He played for the Penguins for a short period of time too. I forget.
Oh, I know who you're talking about because he played for Anaheim too.
Right, and he was of Korean descent. So yeah.
Anders Lee?
No, not Anders Lee.
No. Who am I thinking of? I said the wrong name. Isn't there an Islanders player?
No, you're right.
There was one, but he was naughty and he got kicked off the team.
Nakajima.
Sung?
Nah, right.
I think his name was Josh Ho-Sung. I think he's in Nashville now.
Right, Ho-Sung. Yeah, but I think Nakajima was the Islander player. Oh, Richard Park. Thank you, Swoopy.
Richard Park. That's it.
Thank you,
Swoopy. Too.
Yes, yeah, and he was of, and I believe he was of Korean descent.
Okay, do you count Filipinos?
Sure.
How about Jason Robertson?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, Jason Robertson, who's an amazing player, and Swoopy Aaron Asham. Good old Aaron Asham.
Oh God,
that's who I was thinking of. But I said Anders instead of Aaron Asham. Right. He was both a Flyer and an Islander, right?
Yep, and he was a Penguin too.
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah,
Matthew Zumba is part Asian too, isn't he?
He is. Oh, I didn't know that actually.
I didn't know.
Yeah, I think he's black and Asian. I think.
Really interesting. Did not know that.
You mentioned that once at a Ranger game.
Oh, huh.
They happened to mention. Yep.
But I do remember Asham though, where I think my best memory of Asham as a Flyer. I think Colby Armstrong, he plowed someone into the boards, and the Flyers were playing Atlanta, and Asham jumped him right from behind and started beating the shit out of him. And then then I remember him ruining that for me, because then he, as a Penguin, almost took Braden Schen's head off in that playoff series between the Flyers and the Penguins after he had just scored on the Penguins. So, oh man, good old Asham.
Frank's right. It's Josh Ho-Sang who I was thinking of.
Oh, okay.
Was that guy on the? I think he was on the Sharks. Setaguchi. Devin Setaguchi.
Devin Setaguchi. Yeah.
He had been Asian. I just don't know where he's from.
I believe Japanese descent.
Okay.
And of course he played for the Wild, and I believe
he played for a lot of teams.
He played for a few, but I do remember him mostly with the Wild. Let's see.
Yeah, Japanese Canadian. Yeah.
And as we were saying, Kairu in St. Louis is Filipino, so that's interesting.
That's what I'm looking up now. I don't think he is.
I don't know.
I'm just clarifying for myself. Greek. He's Greek.
Oh, okay. Still, though, that stands out, though, because Greek is not known for hockey. So
no, they're not. Well, Chris Katsopoulos, right? Remember him? He used to play for the Rangers in Hartford and Toronto.
Who?
Chris Katsopoulos.
Oh, Kostopoulos. Yeah.
Yeah, he used to play for he was a defenseman with the Rangers. He was part of the Mike Rogers trade when the Rangers got Mike Rogers for 1 year.
Oh my God, you're
Ooh,
right.
right back in it.
Asham did score a goal in the final. I forgot all about that.
How about that play?
Can't
Read
pay
it
the
down.
Kempe.
Wow. Give
Chris,
it up
look at
for
that.
Give it up for Kempe, man. He has had himself one hell of a series.
Did he ever roof that one? Wow.
And that was after a ping from Nuge on the other side. So
Yep.
that's usually the telltale sign. You ping off the post, it's going in the back of your net usually.
Great play by Kempe. He got Skinner to go with him, and it opened up that corner there where he just absolutely just sauced it.
What a play. Wow.
Can I say real quick while we're talking of like nationalities in the sense, I wish I was Greek. They age wonderfully. Look at John Stamos. They have wonderful heads of hair. Obviously, I can't say the same for myself.
Are you also referring to John Stamos?
But just Greeks in general.
Yeah, but he's Mr.
I was just saying the hair
but
too.
He's Mr. Perfect, so you can't really count him.
Yeah, but I mean, like, tell me that Greek people don't age beautifully. Like, I'm aging like milk. They age like a fine wine.
They just photograph well.
Yeah. There you go.
I guess it's a Mediterranean thing.
And they're amazing people. Like, they are amazing people. Like, they are some of the most passionate people you will ever meet in your life. And I love it. They are so passionate about life and living and celebrating the moments. It's unreal. And that's really just a personality trait that anybody can have, but it's just how they're raised.
I think
They're
that's
raised to
also
just live in the
another trait.
moments. And
You remember that
celebrate
movie, My
everything.
Big Fat Greek Wedding?
That's
The guy with the Windex? Rub some Windex on it.
Oh, so God's chiming in saying, I made John Stamos.
You
So
did. And
that's...
then you made John Stamos, and then you made me. Just saying.
Hey, listen, sometimes it's just not fair. It's hard. It's a tough job. He's got to work what he's got.
John Stamos could make a remake of Twins. You know what I mean? I'd be the Danny DeVito character. I guess that went without saying.
Yeah.
You are right.
Sorry,
I ran out of creatures. Well said.
It's okay, God. I think I'll let you go this one time. You've forgiven me for so much. I think I can forgive you for this.
Well said. Swoopy, by the way, you are right. Owen Nolan is from, he was from Ireland. I believe Northern Ireland.
Was he?
Yes, he was born in Northern Ireland. And went on to become one hell of a player, too.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of good Irish players, though.
It's not really known, though. You know what I mean? Like
Ryan Callahan.
I do also hate Danny DeVito.
Terry O'Reilly.
Well, I mean, yeah, I get that, but I mean, like, he's actually from Ireland, whereas there's a lot of Irish descendants in the United States.
I got a Greek hockey player, by the way.
Oh, okay. Who?
Anastasio. That guy that used to play for Detroit.
Antonisiu. There you go.
Isn't he Greek?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds Greek.
Sounds like it. I mean, I don't know. I don't know for sure. But that name has. I mean, that it's not Jewish. Let's put it that way.
Joe's saying, by the way, really starting to regret picking Edmonton to go to the Stanley Cup Finals. They can't get out of their own way.
I hear you, brother.
I feel like I've watched the whole
both.
game watching the first period of this game.
I like living dangerously. I too like living dangerously.
Careful,
Danger's my middle name.
Hey, God said I also made Thrashers fans. Okay.
Poor souls.
YouTube
God
chat's
listen.
on fire.
Yeah. God, listen. I gotta be real with you, bro. I mean, I think you may have made a mistake with the Thrashers there. I'm just saying. You might have made a slight error in judgment on that Thrashers. Just saying. Just saying.
And why are you so mean to Oakland, God?
Yeah, another good point too.
I mean, you take away their hockey team, you take away their football team, and now you take away their baseball team.
Well, the funniest
You
part
hate him that
about it, the funniest part about it is he took away the Oakland Raiders twice.
Yeah, yes, he did. Oh my God.
He took away the Seals too. Remember the Seals?
I can't breathe.
Then he threw the, and then he had, and then just for a sec, because he has a sense of humor, he put them in Cleveland.
Oh gosh. Oh.
And now he's putting the A's in Vegas along with the Raiders on top of it, just to give them a double bird on the way out.
Exactly.
So, are we all going to hell for this conversation? Because I feel like we are. Well, maybe not so much Rob, because he's not really partaking. I think he's safe for now.
Me? No, I'm guilty by association, brother.
All right. I guess we're all going.
I mean,
Anthony Asio is actually Canadian. I was surprised. I thought I would have put my
Really?
on that. Yeah.
Huh.
He's not Greek.
But I will say this: I'm a ginger, so I was bound to go to hell pretty much from day one. That's just how it is being a ginger. So
that's true. That's true. Yeah, I don't know how to respond to that.
Joe saying, Brian, you're a work of art. Oh my God. Oh my
God. Thanks.
Oh boy.
That's yeah, I don't know. I didn't want to finish that comment there. See, we even found one that I won't finish reading. Oh my God.
Wow.
It's complimentary. I know that. I don't know how to respond. So I'm just going to say thank you and let's move on.
Yeah, we're going to move on from that one. Tom here has a hockey one. He says Connor McFraud. Okay, there we go. We're back to it. Like you said, Rob, YouTube chat's on fire.
I mean, how many points does McDavid have in this series?
He's got a good amount. He's got a good amount. Don, by the way, is he is dying right now. That man, I don't know if he's going to be alive much longer after this conversation that we're having. Ted, by the way, thank you again for the $4.99. Saying Rob's Mets Dallas fan, he's already living in his own personal hell each and every day.
True story.
We all have our own personal hell.
But you're a Met fan and you're not a Jet fan?
No, I like the Jets. They're my I don't really football when it comes to football. I'm a fan of the players. I've kind of fallen out of the pro game, but I mean, I like rooting for the Jets locally. I'll jump on that Aaron Rodgers bandwagon, sure.
I mean, I'm the same way, Robbie. So don't feel too bad. Like I've fallen off of I used to be avid. I gotta watch the Eagles every Sunday. Watch the Eagles, and now it's just I'm just gonna turn on Red Zone and just call it a day.
You were into college football. You were into college football. Did you see our guy last night that we had on Sports Hounds last night?
Yeah, I very much enjoyed that interview.
Yeah, he was good. Yeah, he was good. He was really good.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been at Towson for 40 years.
Wow.
First, he was a player. And Gordy Combs, I'm talking about. He was a player there, and then he coached there. He was an assistant coach for 7 years. Then he coached the team for 16 years, and then after he finished coaching the team, he became their play-by-play guy on the radio. So he's had quite the run there.
That is crazy.
And I'll tell you what, he really knows his college. He knows his college football. It's funny though. He knows all the guys' numbers. He has trouble remembering the names, but he remembers all the numbers.
Oh, Joe, I had no idea.
He said it's a coach thing. Okay. It's interesting. It's interesting how it's a different point of view.
No, it's funny because I'm like the opposite. Like I can remember the name from the number. Like if you give me somebody on a current roster right now by the number and the team that they're on, I could probably tell you who it is.
Yeah, I'm bad at numbers.
That's why if you say, "Well, what's his name?" I can't remember. I'll always ask you, "What's the number?"
There you go.
So it's still 3-0, by the way, for Dallas. 5:02 left in the third period. They're showing Marc-Andre Fleury, who's not playing in the game right now. He's actually on the bench. So Gustafsson is playing for the Wild, which, I mean, it makes total sense after the not-so-good game that the Wild had with Fleury in the net. So... let's see here. Larry says, my Temple Owls will win the AAC title this year. I don't know what to say on that. I don't follow college sports at all. Well, I follow a little bit of the hockey side of things, but that's it. So,
Larry, you referring to football or basketball? Or baseball? I don't know if they have a baseball program, to be completely honest with you. I know they have basketball, which is a
well, we know it's not football.
Big. I know they got football too. So, where do they play anyway? Is their home field Franklin Field?
They still play in that field?
I thought that was the University of Penn.
It might be Penn.
Yeah, I think it is. Thank you.
Larry says football.
Oh boy. Okay.
2-on-1 for Dallas. Empty netter. It's 4-0, and they pretty much slammed the door shut. So Minnesota is going to be down 3-2 in the series. Dallas will have a chance to finish it off in Minnesota for Game 6. So, that's yeah. So, do you think the Wild rebound?
Oh, they have to.
Yeah. I think that series is going 7.
All right, then. I mean, they're going to have to do a big response too because they got they've been shut out so far in this game. I won't say they are shut out because still got about 3 minutes left. There's enough time to get at least one goal on the board and at least avoid a shutout. But
I feel stupid. I forgot that they Owls play at Lincoln Financial Field.
Well, there we go. This would be also said, no more baseball team. My brother played for Temple baseball. Oh, interesting.
That blows.
Where did Priz go?
Playing them.
That's right. You went to Rutgers.
Those were always fierce games.
What
R.I.P. Moose.
Yeah.
Rich Hill is great. He was a great head coach there at Rutgers when I went.
Nice.
Rick Hill, not Rich Hill. Rick Hill, excuse me.
What was what's the Rutgers mascot again? I forget.
Scarlet Knights?
Yeah.
That's right. I mean, knight versus an owl. I don't know. Hard to picture that. But unless it's a big owl, like you see in the fantasy novels. But
Harry Potter owl.
Yeah, we're talking like big, like you can walk up to it and stare it in the face, and it's as big as you are, like a big owl.
And then it just whoos right in your face. Blows your helmet right off.
He's like, whoo. And then your response is, what, bitch? Who are you talking to?
All right, so move on.
I'm starting to get delirious here.
So let's move on here to the third period. Brought to you by FanUp, the best way to enjoy fantasy sports. They have daily NBA and MLB contests. They also will have NFL contests when that season rolls back around, and also NHL contests as well. You can win great prizes if you sign up today and use the promo code A2D for 5,000 bonus points, which is a $50 value that you can get for free. And you just go to fanup.app, download it, and start winning yourself some money. That's the main thing here. Win yourself some cash. All right then, gents. We move on to the third period. We've been through a few of the matchups. We talked about the Rangers and the Devils. We've talked about the two matchups in the Atlantic. We've got Carolina and the Islanders. Carolina has now lost this game, pushed to game 6. What do you think? You think that the Islanders push a game 7? Or do you think Carolina takes game 6 and finishes it off?
Game 7, because that's how I have it on my NHL bracket.
I agree. Game 7, no question.
For obvious reasons, too,
yeah. But I just think that the Islanders are not gonna quit. You know, that's against their religion to ever quit. That's one team that has a history of never giving up, and I don't anticipate they're going to do that. And you know what? Carolina does have a history of having trouble putting teams away. You know, if you remember 2 years ago, they ended up going. They had the best record, and then it took them 7 games to beat Boston. You know, and last year, of course, they had a 3-2 lead against the Rangers, and they couldn't put that series away. I could see this going 7. I could see the Islanders pulling it out too. I hope that doesn't happen, but you know, we'll see what happens.
I'm liking Carolina in 6, mainly because of my bracket, but Carolina tends to usually respond really well when it comes to games after a loss, and they've rebounded pretty well, especially in this series. After heartbreaking losses like this one, but they're a little bit quicker than the Islanders. The Islanders' big thing is playing a physical game. If they can maintain that physical game in New York, I could see them forcing a game 7. But there's something about this Islanders team. They're just, or the Hurricanes team. I think they'll figure out a way to close this out and hopefully lose to the Devils in the second round. Oh, sorry. Did I say that out loud?
Yes, you did.
Oh, sorry. That meant to be.
I'm depressed enough that they blew that, and embarrassed enough that the Rangers blew a 2-game lead. Now it's tied 2-2. To think that they could lose this series is just, it will be shattering.
Yeah,
I have a feeling it's going to be shattering.
Larry has an interesting question here. If Carolina chokes this series, is Rod gone?
I don't think so.
No.
I think he's too ingrained in the community and the organization, and to have one hiccup, you know, against the Islanders team that, you know, it's not like they're untalented.
True.
They also are missing their 2 best players too.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's you know, how could you blame them for that? They're having trouble scoring because they're missing their 2 top offensive players. You know, I mean, if the Rangers were missing Panarin and Zibanejad, they are missing Zibanejad. Wait a minute, are they or not? Are they playing for the Rangers? Zibanejad and Panarin.
They're on a milk carton. I thought I saw them somewhere.
Yeah. I saw that.
Oh, Jesus, that went over my head. Oh, I was about to say he played in the last game. Did he get injured or something? Like,
no. I don't think that they ever called his name once.
Jesus,
especially Zibanejad.
On that one.
Well, victory for Dallas. It is Ottinger's second ever shutout as it is preserved. So congratulations to him.
Nice.
And so we will see you for game 6 in Minnesota with a chance for Dallas to finish off that series and move on to the semifinals.
What's all that crap that's falling all over the stadium? Are they shooting confetti and that kind of stuff? Or A
They might
playoff
be.
win?
Streamers.
That's
It's-
probably what they're doing.
Yeah, they fire off the streamers after every home win.
Hey, I mean that's isn't that like college football stuff?
It's Dallas for you.
Yep.
I guess
Everything's
so.
bigger in Dallas.
Okay. Yeah, I guess so. Well, I'm not gonna go there. No, you're not gonna get me there.
It's
I mean,
swoopy.
It's been such a long time since Dallas has won anything in that city. They got to celebrate every win they can.
Yeah,
Right.
True story. True story.
The last team to win a championship was the Cowboys, was it not? Or no, actually, it was the Stars. Yeah, because they won in '99. Yeah,
Yeah.
unless the
Houston-
Mavericks won a championship, though I'm not aware.
Wait a minute. No, the Mavericks with when they beat Ledope and his buddies in Miami.
Oh, okay, so it was the Mavericks.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mavericks. Yeah.
Okay, now,
When did that happened in the 2000s, didn't it?
yeah, apparently everybody's saying Larry's saying it, Ted's saying it, John is saying it. By the way, hi, John. Ted's also saying, yeah, Mavs beat the Heat super team.
Yeah.
If you consider the Texas Rangers a Dallas team, they might be the next one.
It could be that Texas Rangers team.
They're
If
pretty
DeGrom
good.
can stay healthy, which I heard he's already flirting with an injury. So
Yeah,
Big
he is.
surprise.
Yeah.
yeah, you don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah.
Ted's saying 2011. That was the year it happened.
Okay. Yeah. Because that's when. Yeah.
See, I obviously, as you could tell, do not follow basketball, so I absolutely had no knowledge of that.
That was around the time I stopped watching basketball.
I don't watch it all that much, but I do follow it. You know what I mean? Like I check
Right.
the scores all the time, and I see who's
Right.
scoring. It just I have trouble watching a whole basketball game. I just don't find it. I used to really like it, but it just to me it's monotonous and boring, and it's too much scoring, and last 5 minutes are cool. I like the last 5 minutes of their games, but I can't sit through a whole basketball game. I'd go out of my. If I went to one, I'd probably go out of my mind.
John's saying a great first period of the LA Edmonton game. Yes, really
Yeah.
good game. They have really good game so far. Back and forth it goes. LA just not stopping. They keep coming back no matter what Edmonton does. Edmonton can build a lead up, be like, ha, I dare you to tie this. And then the Kings tie it. And you're like, what the fuck? How'd you tie this game up? It's like, well, you guys don't play defense very well. That's why.
I mean, that also
you can
depends on
stop
your
it. You
perspective.
can stop it. You don't play defense, Matty.
And that kind of leads me to my point. It depends on perspective. If you're these coaches, that was a terrible first period for both teams defensively, but it was good offensively for the teams not sitting back and especially the Kings, pulling within one and then going back down two and then pulling back within one again, answering to these goals relatively quickly. So yeah, in that sense, yeah, it was a good first period. But if we're looking at this, too many scoring chances. Edmonton spent way too much time in the LA zone, especially early on in the first period. I can't sit there and say that was a great first period. I'll say that it was an entertaining first period, absolutely. But I can't say that was a good first period, especially for LA.
Best part is, though, is as a fan of hockey that gives no shits about either team, it is enjoyable from that perspective where it's like, ha! I love it watching you two guys stress over this shit while I sit here and enjoy. That's always fun.
But on that note, boys, I got to run. I got a long week ahead of me. I got to get some sleep tonight and kind of get my energy back up for what's going to be a very long 7.5 weeks ish until I can get back up there. But
I got you, brother.
Got to run. Appreciate you, boys. Good shit as always. And I will be in touch. We'll talk next week. All right.
All right, then. See you, Bri.
All right, boys. Be
Peace,
safe.
brother.
Peace.
All right, then. And Joe, real fast, wanted to say, since we're talking baseball for a second there, Brad and Rob, question, who is better all time, Roy Max?
Ooh,
That's a tough
I
question.
would say, you know what? I had to say Scherzer.
I'm going to say Scherzer too. I didn't want to come off as a homer. That's why I wait. I mean, as good as Roy was,
Roy was great in Toronto too, by the way.
yeah, absolutely.
And keep in mind that division, he used to have to pitch against the Yankees when they were in their heyday, and Boston when they were in their heyday as well.
Right.
Those two lineups, he had to pitch against them 5-6 times a year. So,
Right.
and he was always tough. He was always tough against the Yankees, at least in Toronto.
Right.
He had trouble in Fenway Park though, and he had trouble in Yankee Stadium.
Right.
But boy, he was good.
You know, one
Larry
edge you got to
saying
give
Schilling
to
over
Holiday.
Roy.
Oh, Schilling
Sorry,
over
Rob.
Roy. Wow. No problem, man. No problem. I mean, I kind of maybe disagree with that statement a little bit, but I mean, no disrespect to Schilling, good pitcher in his own day. But see, Max gives up the home run ball. He always has. He always has a high fly ball rate, whereas Holiday always kept the ball on the ground. I don't know. I think I'm
It's
gonna
not
change my
easy.
answer.
But do you remember how good he was in Detroit?
Yeah, he was very good in Detroit. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm going by his Detroit days too. He was
Yeah.
unbelievable when he was with the
Yeah.
Tigers.
Yep.
You know, and then he goes to where did he
Washington.
go after that? He went to Washington and he was great in Washington.
Yeah.
You know, and then LA and then now the Mets. I just, you know what, he lasted longer. He didn't get hurt as often as Holiday was injured a lot.
Right.
That was
Right.
that was his only
Thus the lower strikeouts. Yeah. Right.
yeah.
Right.
Well, Joe does go on to say they both played 16 years, both have 203 wins, but Scherzer got one more Cy Young and 1,000 more strikeouts.
Right. Because he was
Yeah,
more on the
well,
field.
not that strikeouts matter all that much, but that 1,000 kind of does matter.
Yeah. Well, you got a lot of ground ball outs and double
And
plays
he
too.
was just-
Yeah.
Doc could always elicit those.
Yeah, listen, an out is an out.
Yep. Absolutely.
You know, I mean, if you're going for strikeouts are more style points than anything else.
Yeah.
And Joe was also saying, I had this debate with some cousins. That's why I asked. Larry follows up with Schilling had more wins and a better era and 13 postseason wins.
I'm telling you, he's pretty good too.
Yeah, he was really good. He also played on really good teams too.
Yeah.
Schilling, when he got traded to the Red Sox, they had some outstanding teams.
Yep. Diamondbacks.
Yep, and the Diamondbacks.
Few bad teams with the Phillies though.
Yeah, he did. But he managed to win with them too. That's
Yeah.
I think he's a Hall
So-
of Famer, but you know what? Everybody hates him because you know, well, I don't want to get into
Yeah.
politics. So, but
Yeah.
that's why everybody hates him, which is really
Right.
stupid.
Right.
So, a question though. I believe Halladay didn't have a World Series, did he not? He didn't win one. Whereas Scherzer, was he on I was going to say the Capitals.
Yeah.
Was he on the Nationals when they won the World Series?
Yes, he
He
was.
was. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then obviously I knew Schilling had won World Series championships because he was with the Diamondbacks, like you said. He was also with the Red Sox when they won World Series. So,
Scherzer was on the Tigers when they lost in the World Series
oh, okay.
to the Giants.
Oh wow, was he?
Well, wait a minute. Did the Tigers get to the play the Giants? No, that was the Rangers that played the Giants. My bad.
Right. Right.
He didn't make the World Series with the Tigers. I'm sorry.
Oh, and he was.
John,
I thought Roy
say
might have had one. I'm sorry, Manny. Go ahead.
No, that's my bad. You go ahead, Rob. You were about to say something.
I just I had thought that Roy had gotten one with the 2010.
Oh, gotcha.
Sorry, I was at this point.
John was saying, say it, Brad, because he has conservative views. Larry went on to say he should be in the Hall. Writers are a disgrace.
Yeah. Yeah,
What-
exactly. It's all political and it's ridiculous because he's a Hall of Fame pitcher. I don't care what anybody says. And listen, I couldn't stand the guy. Okay, he was a Red Sox. So if I'm telling you that a Red Sox should be in the Hall of Fame, then that tells you just how much respect I have for him as a pitcher. He's really good.
2008.
So, question here. So, gentlemen, move on here now to the final matchup that I think we haven't covered yet, because I believe we've covered all the matchups. Colorado, Seattle, and yeah, I think the last one we haven't covered is LA and Edmonton. So, question here. Depending upon this game tonight, I mean, yeah, I still feel pretty confident in the Kings. I still think the Kings can gut this series out. As talented as Edmonton is, and as great as Edmonton can be, and they can be amazing. LA just seems to be frustrating them. They're more than a thorn in the side. They're just like this you ever had like a really annoying sound, like a real annoying buzzing that you hear in your ear, or like a really annoying sound from something and you're trying to find out what it is, or like a cricket that you hear in the middle of the night that you're trying to kill because you want to go back to fucking sleep? It's kind of like one of those things for Edmonton. They are desperately trying to get rid of LA, but they keep stumbling and bumbling, and they just have the worst time trying to get rid of this damn thing.
But that's how they play.
Right. So my question is, I still think LA can win this series. Do you guys believe LA can win this series, or do you think Edmonton will take care of business?
I don't think so. I think Edmonton ends up winning, but I do think it's going to be 7.
Agreed.
Okay.
I just think they have too much offensive firepower. I mean, in order for Kings to win, they got to grit out these games, into the overtimes. Now, I mean, it took overtime for Edmonton too last game, but I just, Kings have played better and matched up better than I thought, and it's always the Achilles heel is goaltending and defense for Edmonton. But I mean, Draisaitl's just playing out of his mind. He's the best player in the playoffs so far.
Yeah, Edmonton's offense is too good for LA. LA doesn't score enough to be able to match them. That's where they lack it. Is and Edmonton just scores. Seems when they score so easily, and LA just has to. You made this comment before, Rob, that they work so hard for every goal.
Right.
And Edmonton, it just seems like if they get a power play, it's almost automatic.
Someone's down on the Oilers.
Did he just skate on the puck?
I think he did. Well, he's getting back up now. So
yeah, it looked like he stepped on the puck.
Yeah, he just ate shit too. He went down.
Yeah. He's lucky he didn't blow out his knee.
Yeah, very lucky. Let's see here. John was saying that LA and Edmonton went 7 last year, and that's true. It did. Edmonton did come out on top. So the thing is, though, with the offense and the heavy shot count and what have you, honestly, though, I feel like the Oilers are being kind of stymied. Like the Kings are doing a pretty good job defensively of holding them. Yes. This beginning of this game was a bad example. I wouldn't show that for an example, but the last game, the Kings were really doing a good job of keeping the Oilers frustrated. The game before that as well. It seems like the Kings know how to defensively handle the Oilers for the most part. Yes, they get scored on, but once they tighten up, it seems like the Oilers have a hard time finding the back of the net. That doesn't mean that they're consistent with it, though. That's the one thing that I will say that's hurting the Kings the most. They're relying heavily on their goaltender to bail them out when their defense gets a little loose.
Hey.
If they tighten up defensively, though, they've had a good stance.
If the Kings came out of this series on top, I would not be surprised. I'm not uber confident, but I just feel in the end they do have the offensive power, and I have them going on a run this year. I want to be that contrarian. I want to get that. I want to get that perfect bracket. Come on.
Right. The one thing we all aim for, the perfect bracket. So hard, so elusive. Oh my God. So I believe that covers all the playoff matchups that we've gone through. Yeah, that's pretty much that. I do believe. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, Minnesota and Dallas.
Yeah, we talked about Minnesota and Dallas already, I think, buddy. I mean,
We
do you have
did?
anything else to add?
No. Okay, I think I lost track. So that was it.
No. You're good. You're good. Just in terms of during the live reactions we've covered. I mean, I have nothing more to say about it. I mean, if you two go on, absolutely, please.
No, I'm
No,
pretty much.
I'm good.
I'm
I
pretty
was
good
just
with
I
that.
was checking that because I was like, wait a minute, did we talk about it? I wasn't sure.
Gotcha.
After we talked to God, I got very sidetracked. So
You tend to
had
do
to-
that.
yeah.
Yeah, that happens sometimes.
Excuse me.
All right then, moving on to the. I believe we were in the third period. Yes, we were. So to the shootout we go. Sponsored by Alonzi Travel, a vacation destination that you've been eyeing for a little while, whether it's for the family or it's for you and the significant other, or if it's just for yourself, because sometimes you got to treat yourself. A lot of stress in life, need to get away. But you know what? If you got to plan the whole thing out and you got to put the shit together, that can add a little bit more stress to it because there's all this little tiny shit you got to get taken care of. You got to take care of the hotel reservations on top of the plane tickets, and it's a whole mess. So, real simple.
And getting a ride from the airport to the airport and get each way.
Right.
And at home and getting a ride and when you get to your destination, getting a ride to your hotel.
Right. Or getting the rental car and everything like that. Yeah, it's a whole, it could be a mess. So, Alonzi Travel will take care of that for you. All you have to do is just do your daily stuff, take care of it, take care of the job, take care of the chores, take care of whatever necessities you got to take care of. If you need to get a pet sitter or whatever it needs to be, you could take care of that stuff while Alonzi Travel, they take care of the vacation stuff. They are specializing in creating the vacation of your dreams at Disney, Universal, or wherever your heart calls to. Let their talented team of travel experts create a custom vacation for you. Also, say hi to Chucks and Ritz, who happen to be working for that fine establishment. And let them take care of you. They specialize in this. And when you want to do this right, you go to a specialist. That's just how it works. All right, then, gentlemen. So on to the shootout we go. And our first shootout topic here to bring up to everybody. Actually, hold on a second. It closed on me. Damn it. Gotta bring the email back up. Of course. Right when I was about to. You got it up? Okay, go ahead, Rob.
It's your biggest surprise so far in the playoffs.
Okay, so biggest surprise for me, Seattle. It is absolutely Seattle. I mean, the way that by all accounts, the fact that they won game one, they won everyone was fucked raw by Colorado. And yet it's the Kraken that been doing the fucking. And it's like, holy shit.
Dominating at times, too.
Yeah. I think they scored every game. I think they have.
Mm-hmm.
It's Seattle for me. Joe and John are agreeing with me. What about you?
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. Seattle is definitely, because I thought that they would be out in 4. I thought they get swept. So that's a shock to me.
Yeah. It's shocking for me. It's one that I had up there to list, but just to offer a contrarian view, Toronto being up 3-1 on Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay not representing.
I think Joe's in full agreement with you on that one, Rob. Puts that as number 2. You say number 2
Leafs,
would
not
be the
Leafs.
Leafs not leafing it. Yes. I like that. Well done there, Joe.
I would say
it's a
I
shame
call it
too.
the Buckner effect.
Yeah.
The Buckner effect done.
Yes.
Okay, so that is that one. Brad, what about you? What do you? It was Seattle. I'm sorry, you already said that. I'm off today. Anyway, so
It's a slate.
what we got next? Right.
We actually we have 2 this week. We had biggest surprise and your hot take.
Oh, okay then. So hot take is, I will say, you know what? I'm just going to roll with it. I'm going to say the Kraken, they beat Colorado in 6. They finish it on home ice, and they send the defending Cup champions home crying early, and everybody gets to point and laugh at Colorado.
Nice. My hot take, the Rangers will beat the Devils in 7 games, but here's where it gets hot, where a home team will never win a game in the series.
Oh boy.
I see.
Lots of disappointing fans going home, but Rangers move on.
So then the story of the semifinal matchup would be, can the Rangers win in the Garden?
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise. And you know what? That statement doesn't surprise me that you might say that, and that it could absolutely happen, because the Rangers have been very shaky at home all season. So they've been much better on the road. So it doesn't. None of this is really that surprising. You know, if you've watched the Rangers as often as, say, me. My hot take is that Mika Zibanejad and Artemi Panarin wake up in Game 5, and the Rangers are going to smoke them on Game 5. I don't want to go any further than Game 5, but I think that they wake up that night and have a big night.
You not tempt the hockey gods.
Yeah, I don't want to get arrogant and have the hockey gods punish me, because they always, you know, if you're a Ranger fan, you always feel like the gods are punishing you.
Well, that's something that a Flyers fan
my
can identify with.
goaltender gets run over twice, and somehow I'm shorthand. You know, and somehow my goaltender gets run over, and my team is shorthanded and gives up the tying goal on Saturday night, and they lose 2-1. You know, that eats at my craw.
John saying no way. I'm assuming he meant from my Seattle comment there. Or maybe he was talking about Rob with the home team not getting a single win in that series between the Devils and the Rangers.
Yeah, I could see that. Both those teams are better
True.
road teams than home teams. That applies to the Devils as well.
Right.
So then Joe's saying, not sure if it's a hot take, but the Leafs blow a 3-1 lead and lose in 7. I wouldn't consider it a hot take, to be honest.
And that would be a hot take. I don't think
it'd be right up the Leafs' alley.
Yeah. But
as Joe said, that would be leafing it.
Yeah.
That would be very much leafing it.
Yeah, that would.
Oilers just scored.
Yep. Did that hit somebody in the skate, or did that go in? Or was that deflected in? Nick Bukestad.
Yeah, it's Bukestad who gets the goal.
The former Panther.
Yes, and I do believe he was also a Penguin at one point too.
That I don't remember, but I do remember him as a Panther. Let's see.
I do remember him as a Panther too.
Oh, you know what? That went in on. Yeah, but he was being checked in front of the net, and it was a deflection.
Oh, it might be Hyman's goal if it hit him.
Yeah, maybe
they're pulling. They're pulling Corpy. They're going to take Corpy out of the game.
Really?
So in
like
comes.
they're put.
Yeah, they're putting Copley in now.
Oh, so they're going to blame
Huh.
Korpisalo. As brilliant as he's
I
been
mean,
in this game, and he's been absolutely brilliant, and they're blaming him. What goal was his
they
fault?
really didn't watch.
Yeah, do they see?
They didn't. That was a good tip. That was a good
Yeah,
deflection there from Bukestad. Nothing you can
yeah.
really
Then
do
it went
about
in.
that.
I thought it was. I thought it was Bukestad's goal, but
It
I've been
is.
wrong before. Okay, there you go.
It is his. He deflected it right in through.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
looked
you
like a.
can't really blame Corpusalo for that.
Yeah,
Like
really,
deflected, it happens.
yeah, that was a Chris Kreider type of goal. You know, a garbage
Right.
goal, but they all count.
I mean, yeah, there were 2 posts in period 1. Can't deny that. But I mean, first 5-6 minutes there, the Oilers were were all over the fucking Kings.
They could have had
And
5, 6 goals in the first period.
right, and Corpy made sure it didn't happen. I don't know. I don't know. We'll
I
see if
can't
that
tell if.
pays off, but I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I can't tell if that was whose goal that was. That he definitely Bukestad tipped it for sure, but I can't tell if the other guy it went in off his feet or not. Yeah, it's hard to tell.
I don't think it touched Hyman's skates. I think it
Yeah.
actually is Bukestad's goal. I think it just missed Hyman's skates.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Just saying it could be. All right. So with that being said, I do believe it is time to round this thing out as we've gone through hot takes and whatnot. So that'll do it for this edition of the Hockey Happy Hour. We hope everyone will enjoy the rest of the festivities for the playoffs tonight to finish up between LA and Edmonton. We will see if Edmonton can take the lead in the series, or if the Kings have another upset up their sleeve. We'll see about that. Until then, though, everybody, we thank you all for joining us. We hope you had fun tonight. And we hope to see you guys next week, where there'll be plenty more playoff action to talk about. Next week, we will be in the semifinals by then, so we'll see what teams made it and what teams got kicked right the hell out of the playoffs. And yeah, so it'll be fun, that's for sure. So thanks, everybody, for chiming in and tuning in tonight. And once again, brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy. If you got any aches and pains, go to the doctor. Dr. Paul, Physical Therapy Doc. He'll take care of you. Until next week, though, stay safe out there. Enjoy the playoffs, and we will see you next week to talk some more puck. Until then, peace and love, everyone.